Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. Good evening, everyone. Hello, welcome to Friday night session on Christmas Eve of all times. Having a game of D&D on Christmas Eve with friends and family. Uh, Last game, we had a few technical difficulties, but we made do with what we had on hand. Didn't get to cover much, but I would like to ask those of you who got to play if anyone would like to make a recap. Recite a recap. Fill us in on a recap.
Bones
Requesting
visited. Oh, go ahead.
We will be requesting a cushion for Adanu because stone beds.
Yep, you got the cushion last time.
Okay, I thought I was just in the process of requesting it.
Nah, you managed to get it. You're good. What were we saying, Heather?
So I was saying that Bones visited Poe, kind of got him caught up that the Zentarum or Driscoll was looking for him. Found out that Driscoll was a made man, for whatever that might mean for her, having murdered Death Tim. We'll see. Gave more than she got this time, but that tends to be how it goes with Poe. Sometimes you get more, sometimes you get less. Yeah, good check-in overall, and she then checked in with Shago and kind of, I don't know, gave him the hard sell might not be the right term for it. She definitely was like, we need a Shago. And Shago was like, oh, maybe. So we'll see. He asked her to he asked her for a day to think about it. She said, I'll give you 2. So he'll take a couple days to think about it and hopefully make a decision on whether or not he is coming to New Haven with them. Yeah, then she went off to find Neurixius, who she heard was hanging out in Gnome Town, which is super sus.
Fairly sus. What does he do that isn't sus these days?
Yeah, she's not. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see. Yeah, you broke bread once more with the informant, the merchant, the beggar prince, Pockmarked Poe, a man of somewhat dubious reputation, an information broker, who always seems to know a little bit more than he should. Taking a risk, you let him know that, hey, people are watching you. He gave you some warnings of your own, and seemed to hint here and there at a couple of different peculiarities. One of which was your presence so far from Haven so soon. Interesting. Appealing to Shago's, he's a man who refers to himself in the third person. Saying you need a Shago is basically appealing to his pride at that point. With your passive insight, you know you have made some kind of impression on him as you make your way back to New Haven. Back to Nyanzaru, the city beyond the old city. While you were doing that, and others were going to the other sides of the island, there was a meeting at Reginald Crosp's. Leah and Karn, you guys were both there. Do you care to recap it all?
Oh, there was a lot of stuff that was discussed. Some highlights that I might remember. Roar kind of went into detail about their adventures down south and meeting with an emissary of the Raven Queen, sharing the information that the Guardians down in the south were protecting Omu, and were likely dangerous to investigate. Shared information on Adanu and Adanu's background with Crosp. Didn't find an immediate solution to Adanu's current issues, so the current situation will continue, but Adanu was encouraged to make himself comfortable in Roar's Hole.
Wizard Hole.
Wizard Hole. Artificer
Wizard
Hole.
Hole.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Let me see. Roar was reunited with Gallium. Gallium was very excited to see Roar. Roar shared his new maestership with Gallium, who was very impressed. Gallium is suspicious of Karn, but was too friendly to really make any notes about it. That's what I recall from the conversation there. I know at the end, Karn politely excused himself to go visit Little Hands and decided it was probably best kept as a private conversation.
Okay. One thing of note, let me dial back a little bit. So yeah, you guys met with Reginald, informed him about certain things. Roar was, he made a point that perhaps this information is dangerous and perhaps a scholar should hold on to this information. There was some theorizing, some pontificating about, what things could mean, where things could be. Crosp abided by this, basically told Roar, talk to your people. Let me know when we touch base who I can tell about this and what we're going to do about it. For paraphrasing. During this interaction, Roar asked for the Globe of Wonders and asked Adanhu to scry upon one of his allies, the pilot of the Sentinel's head this side of Tikal, Khalid, the Mistress of Conjuration. He succeeded in scrying, but what you saw within the globe was an entombed, enshrined, and decorated corpse. Hard to say in the darkness and the gray vision of the orb, but it looked like the body had been reduced to bones. Nothing left but the skeletal remains of their figure and their jewelry. You guys could not immediately recognize where the place was. Danhu seemed to have some difficulty recalling, partially due to being blind and partially due to being asleep for 2,000 goddamn years. You need some coffee. You guys left Adanu in the hole. Reginald took Bulgup to take a walk to discuss matters after learning that Bulgup was a warlock. Currently in Reginald Crosp's home, what is left of the barren and thoroughly evacuated building, Desmond Fleming appears to be babysitting a couple of fey creatures, a very excitable Warforged, and Roar. Let's see. That covers the
Couldn't
broad
have happened
strokes of
to
the
a
last
nicer
game.
wizard.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Is there anything else that anyone would like to add?
No, I think that was everything that happened.
That does seem to be everything, I think. If I'm forgetting things, I'm sure one of you guys are going to remember. That's how it works, right? So let's see. As we dive into game. Is that music not playing?
No, it just kind of stopped. It'd be like that.
Why did my thing just suddenly jump in the middle of my screen?
There's some jank with the music player. It'll be fixed in a later update. I ask you to bear with me in the meantime.
I don't think that handles like my sidebar that has the chat in it.
Chat can be popped out, but right now some of the music, for whatever reason, causes the sidebar to bounce around. like I mentioned, in a later update that'll be fixed. So, let's see. Might as well move to Karn. Karn, you make your way. It's a short jaunt between Crosp's office and the Dwarven Quarter and Gnome Town. I'm assuming that you're taking the circuitous route and going around the Merchant Prince's villa.
Yeah.
Okay. So you make your way around Merchant's Ward. People are moving. People are bustling. You see some real solidarity among the people in town. Not only are there builders and workers toiling away in the heat of the mid-afternoon jungle coast heat, but they seem to be smiling as they do it. You see some doll busting, you see some joking, you hear a lot of people talking and being upbeat. More so as you approach the Dwarven Quarter in Gnome Town. Along the way, you see a number of beasts of burden tracking along large carts full of supplies, food, and one cart is just full of small folk. You see gnomes and halflings and even a couple dwarves just kind of piled up into a wagon, almost like a hayride, at the expense of an ankylosaurus who is dragging their many numerous bodies, like a taxi almost. You approach the very western part of town, toward the Villa of Little Hands, the spa, the large walled in facility for physical therapy and the like. It's not your first time here. There's a large wooden oak arch door at the very front. It is open currently. You see a couple of small folk are posted around. No one seems to recognize you as you approach. Do you have your Blackguard badge on you? Is that something that Karn wears on his person?
You know what? It strikes me that he probably pinned it to his cloak, since he saw. Well, I know some members of his party would probably keep it hidden until needed. Some might wear it openly. He seems like the type to just pin it to his cloak and then forget that it's there.
Forget that it's there. And it goes unnoticed until it's noticed. At which point, oh, Blackguard. Welcome, Blackguard. Hello? I don't recognize this one. I don't either, but he's got the badge. As you make your way.
Good day. Hello. Hi.
As you make your greetings and acquaintances, the small folk looking up to you, you notice that it is mostly gnomes. Where there are some halflings peppered throughout the area, this area seems to be only wide-faced, kind of misshapen-nosed, funny-looking small folk, which you tell are gnomes. You make your way down along a well-paved path flanked by grass and small, well-kept trees. Not quite saplings, but trees that have been pruned and intentionally kept short. They don't appear to be jungle trees. They look more like orchard trees. One is maybe like a maple, one looks like an apple. Things that you just pick up here and there. You approach the squat, U-shaped building, knowing that the main office is directly ahead. And you step in. As you do so, the well-furnished marble floor interior office stretches out for several dozen feet toward a wide, squat mahogany desk, at which stands a diminutive brown-haired gnome who is currently polishing the countertop, or cleaning the countertop, looking somewhat harried. You recognize this man from the last time you were here. You had looked into Rua. You did not get a name You recall Rua referring to him as Papa.
I'll walk right over to the desk, clumping the butt of my spear along the ground as I walk.
As you clunk and make your presence known, you're not a quiet dude. But he doesn't notice you until you start making like noise with your spear. He turns his attention up, has a double take, squints, and looks at you. Oh, it's you. Welcome. Hello. What can I do for you, Mr.
I am
Karn?
Karn.
Yeah, the one with the voice thing. Hi. Should I get a notepad out? Your impediment.
There's a long silence.
This
one has come for the Rua.
Oh shit! You talk. Okay. He looks befuddled for a moment, rubs his chin, looks you over. Well, I'm glad to see you've recovered your impediment. That wasn't something she did, was it? That was not in her dossier.
No.
Right, well, welcome back. Rua, he takes a seat behind the desk, steeples his fingers. Well, generally speaking, if you're here, then you normally have to file for an appointment. You can request her services if need be. I'm going to be straight with you. I can't tell if you've got a broken limb or a skin condition. So let me get the paperwork out, and I can get you set up for... let's see.
I'll place my free hand lightly on the desk. This one has come to speak with the Rua about that which the Rua took.
Roll me an insight check.
Uh, 24.
24. Okay. So, as you watch his face, you see genuine confusion, befuddlement, almost an innocent uncertainty, and then a flicker of concern at the idea that one of the employees would have stolen something. He glances away from you. Oh, a personal matter. Oh boy. He glances to the side and glances back at you, and well, I can talk to her. What was it that she took from you? If you're missing coins from your coin purse, I assure you, she would not have.
No, the Rua did not steal any coin from this one. Please, speak to the Rua and inform the Rua that this one has come to discuss what was taken. The Rua will understand.
His lips go tight. And with that 24 insight from earlier, you see that there is something weighing on his mind. But he nods to you. Well, I will do this for you, Mr. Karn. It might be a short while. She's, of all the weekends to take off, she will not be
This
in
one
until
will wait.
2 days? In the foyer? No. Where can I find you? I will send a missive.
This one does not intend to leave until this one has spoken with the Rua.
Karn, you can roll persuasion or intimidation.
Karn has like no charisma in either. Let me see. Persuasion, intimidation. They're both at -1. I'm gonna roll persuasion because Karn, he's being serious and might not realize that he's coming off as kind of intimidating, and he's honestly trying to persuade.
He's trying his best.
12.
a 12 persuasion. You see his brows pitch up as he looks at you. I understand. And I can relate. It's always an important and maybe harrowing experience to lose a thing, or to have something taken from you, but
This one appreciates that one's understanding. This one will wait.
But despite that, this is now an internal affair. This is between me and my employee. And, we do have operating hours. You can't just wait in the foyer.
Out of curiosity, the floor of this place, is it stone?
It is stone.
As he's
marble.
speaking, I kind of look around, look at the floor. Then I'll bang the butt of my spear on the floor beneath me and cast stone shape. And I'll rise it up into a chair that I promptly sit down on and look at him.
What the fuck are you doing? You can't just be throwing around magic and... He grabs his hair and completely loses his composure. Please.
This one will wait for the Rua.
He lowers an elbow onto the desk, looks you over, frowns deeply. All right. You can wait there. As a professional courtesy, and because I recognize your stature as a blackguard, and your prominence as a magic user, apparently, excuse me for just a moment, sir.
I give him a thumbs up.
Karn's one of those characters.
Karn just went full Karen.
Yeah.
Karn would like to speak to a manager, please and thank you.
You're speaking to him, and he doesn't know what to do. He's just trying to fall into the throne. Jesus Christ, burning 4th level spells for fucking customer service mishap. All right, cool. Great, that's where we are with this game. Level 9 characters, people. Papa, as you know him, takes a step out from behind the counter, jaw jet to the side, face red and perspiring. And he slips away to the left of you through a wooden door. You recognize this door from before. This leads into a wing where multiple rooms are. Rehab rooms, operating rooms, spa rooms. One of the rooms that you had been in before. You were left by yourself. What is your passive insight? What's your passive perception?
Gross.
Yeah, it sure is.
Shoot, how do I check that?
He will go after that pasta.
Because my spell sheet does not show me my passive perception.
Then I'll leave you to it.
It should be in your main character sheet.
Yeah, it's right next to your regular perception, like your skills.
The gas station.
In parentheses, it will say your passive.
Did not mean to do that. Not on the sheet I'm using, but let me switch over. I know it's like 20-something.
Gross.
Not on the OGL one.
Yeah.
Something sweet
Some
and
sheets
munchy.
suck.
Okay. Because I shouldn't.
Some sheets are better than
There we
others.
go.
Like 21, 24. Rogue numbers.
Actually, well, this says my passive is 18, but that's not calculating with my feet.
So that should be 23 because you're observant, right?
Yeah.
All right, let me just check something real quick. Powerful build, elven accuracy, observant feat. That's the one. Update special traits. Did it jump up?
Yep, 23.
23. Okay, so with a 23 passive perception, you hear some murmuring. You hear some voices.
I hear Beaker
And
arguing with Charlie Brown's
You
teacher.
hear Beaker arguing with Charlie Brown's teacher for a while, and you are left in the foyer for a while as this half-heard conversation carries on for a minute more. As you listen with your passive perception, you can just barely make out bits and pieces of this conversation. Do you remain in your throne?
For now, yes.
For now. Okay. So we're going to pull away from Karn and move forward in initiative. Let us see. Where last we left the B team.
I want to make a
Incognitus.
note. Just the game's paused if it matters at all.
It doesn't matter, but let me unpause.
Okay.
Here we go. Unpaused. Where last we had left the B team. Vanya, Alina, and Banjay, and with Jets being the ride for Edith Dench, had begun to make their way westward toward the Black Cat Tavern, to where the gunslingers currently are.
I will, as gentlemanly as I can, help our friend Mistress Edith off of the horse, as I helped her on.
Okay.
I would assist Alina, although Alina is more familiar with riding a horse than I am.
Right on. So you guys make your way to the Black Cat Tavern. Jet is... you guys lead the horse out to the stables. Well, first you take Edith down. Horse gets led to the stables for now. No need to really hitch Jet. He's an intelligent horse. And make your way to the entryway of the Black Cat Tavern. Sitting outside the door is the dark-skinned gunslinger, Bill Stewart, the one who had greeted you at the refuse pit the day before. He tips his hat to you guys as you approach.
It smells like cow in here.
Greetings and salutations.
Greetings and salutations.
Good morning.
Good morning.
That's still morning? I thought it was afternoon by now. He goes and sits up from the chair, removes his hat, and holds it in front of him, looking your entourage over.
Hey, leave it.
Glad to see y'all made it back out from the jungle. I take it you have recovered the items in question.
Yes. Yes, we have. And I was curious about the nature of how this potion is created, and I hope you do not mind, but we brought my mistress along as well. If there are any particular elements similar to that which we seek to treat, it strikes me that it would be useful to have an accomplished herbalist familiar with how to make such potions.
Herbalism and alchemy could go hand in hand. He glances down at the withered and somewhat hunchbacked form of Edith, who stands at an unfortunately small height for a human being.
If he looms over her, Alina will just stand behind her and loom back.
He appears to be, as politely as he can, making eye contact with this person who is a good bit smaller than him. Pleasure to meet your acquaintance, man. To which Edith glances up.
I'm not your mama, but I do appreciate the deference.
Bill, for his part, grins and opens the door on the inside. Well, you may as well come on in. Melvin is just about ready with preparations. I think he might enjoy putting his head together with Mistress Dench.
I do like the sound of mistress, actually. That has a nice ring to it coming from you.
Oh my, oh my, oh my. Got a bit of a spot on this one. Head on in. He stands aside and avoids eye contact with Edith, as Edith is the first to enter.
Follow after her, rummaging through my pack to bring out the box.
You bring your skeletons with you?
I don't think to tell them no, so yeah, they start to follow me.
Okay, and Bonjo, you bring your Jaggy with you?
Yes.
God damn.
All right, so as you guys enter,
One of the skeletons is still carrying the Jaggy body.
They got a dead Jaggy and a live Jaggy.
Dead Jaggy and a live Jaggy. There's a ritual happening today.
Hey, no.
And you guys enter.
Yes.
From the inside, you hear, "Is that a dead lizard?"
Nope.
Goodness gracious.
What?
From
You.
Please, Frederick,
Take
please
your toy.
wait by the front door with that. I apologize,
Take
I
your toy
forgot
and
that
go.
he was still carrying that.
You already ripped yours up. Back's back.
One moment. Okay. Sorry, what did you do?
I instructed Frederick to wait by the door, so he
Okay,
doesn't
Frederick.
just like parade around the place with the Jaggy in his arms.
And the skeletons. Wonders never cease. Come on in. Is that a live lizard? As Tom Jackson, the apparent chapter master here, points out the very living creature in your grasp, Bonjay. You hear a very sharp, almost hiss. What the hell is that creature doing in my shop? No. Friends or not, that does not come in here. As a blue-skinned tiefling all but volleys over the bar counter to very briskly approach you.
And Banjay turns his body so he's perpendicular and pokes out his butt and hips. No, leave my buddy alone. I've got this one under control. Look, I'll put some rope on it, and it'll be cool.
Elena, if that thing shits on the floor,
I will murder it,
making
yes. No, I'll just murder it.
Yes, you will kill
No,
it as long as you will clean it.
I'll just clean it. What's wrong with that?
That is a wild creature and not a pet, Mbanje. You can summon pets, you don't need to steal them out of the wild. Especially not invasive, angry lizards.
Sir, you killed his parents!
Can you prove that?
I'm washing my hands of this. This is your baby, and that is your baby, and
Greenhorns.
Tom, I would like to apologize. Don't worry about it. Do not worry about it. I've seen adventures. I know what they do. This is actually pretty par for the cause. Melvin, y'all ready over there?
Just about ready.
Mentions a diminutive halfling, curly brown hair, almost like an afro, goggles off of his brow and onto his eyes. A table has been sequestered and put to the side where a small black iron cauldron is set up, bubbling away.
Good.
There appears to be some kind of torch below it, but it glows with a flashing and flickering blue flame.
Yeah, Alina's just gonna look it over and go, Melvin, I brought you a supervisor. Edith?
Edith approaches, cane in hand, looks up to the seat at the table, and sits across from Melvin.
So I'm told that you're the alchemist in question, making some kind of brain-breaking serum? It's not a brain-breaking serum, it's a potion of forgetting. Potion of forgetting. What do you take me for? An amateur?
No,
I take it for a halfling.
Alina grins and realizes that Edith can hold her own.
And she
Vanya
looks
is
up
actually
to
respectfully.
Vanya.
She's doing the respectable assistant role and setting the box down, opening up. The first thing people see is the half a troll heart in there, which she does not remark on as she starts to pull out the other ingredients that she's collected.
You don't remark on it, but Melvin sees it.
I'm afraid that wasn't on the list. Is that a... Holy smokes, is that what I think it is?
Depends on what you think it is. As Mbanje is actually tying rope around the lizard's limbs and body to make a harness.
As you bind your Jaggy, Melvin...
How happy is the Jaggy that this is happening?
Mbanje, roll me an animal handling check. With advantage because you're a fucking furbolg. Melvin looks to you, Mbanje, looks back at the chest.
Well, if I didn't know better, I'd say that's half of a troll's heart. Where the hell did you come across a troll heart? Or a troll, for that matter?
In the woods where trolls shouldn't have been, but, here we are.
And Manja has the other half. We weren't sure if it would be better to transport it in a contained container or if it was fine to leave it out. So we're conducting a little experiment.
Glass jar is perfectly fine, but the chest of preserving does a better job. I think you want to keep it preserved long and good. You keep an electrical charge in it. A spell shock and grasp, perfect for the job.
And he begins to prattle as Edith begins to one by one pluck items out of the chest, setting them aside across from the distracted Melvin. And Mbanje, the Jaggy appears to be enjoying this fun game of Shibari you have set up. It barks happily as you tie its legs and truss it like a Christmas goose.
Well, he's not binding it as if he's about to roast it. He's making a harness so he can walk it.
Yeah. You tie it up good. You don't hog tie it, but it does appear to be accepting of your tie. You're binding of it. Edith, for her part, begins to mention items one by one.
Hawthorn berries, useful in any potion. Heart health, good for the digestion and good for the blood pressure. Hibiscus, commonly used in mental acuity. Supposedly, it's a nootropic. Relatively new field of study. Gum arabic, basic bitch, stabilizer, whatever. Me interested. Mr. Bartlett? Melvin Bartlett? Aye, Melvin Bartlett. Mr. Bartlett. Fly agaric is a well-known hallucinogen. You can do some pretty messed up stuff with this. Well, Mrs. Dench, some pretty messed up stuff has happened to this young girl. And as nice as it would be to let her wake up and grapple with this, go through years of therapy,
when he licks the bottom row of teeth and glances at you, Alina.
What
this hag has done.
You could read her into the situation. She might be helpful. I'd mostly brought her to make sure you're not going to do a full chemical lobotomy on my charge. So, plead your case with your potion. And Alina will go sit at the bar.
Wait, you want to let her in? Sorry.
Bartlett, Melvin, he takes a few moments and considers his words.
What she is afflicted with poses an existential threat to her. Remembering it could kill her, or it could kill someone around her. We want her to forget the last week, ideally the last 2 weeks. It's not a, what do you call it, chemical lobotomy. We're not monsters. At least we try not to be.
You're strangers, and I don't know you, and you did not make a great first impression, so I'm bringing someone in to double-check your work.
Hey, fair enough. But if you're worth your salt, Mrs. Dench, Mistress Dench, then you'll know in proper dosages, with the right amount of brewing, long, good, slow brewing, you can control the amount of time that's taken away from the mind. Edith folds her withered arms, side-eyes him, and inclines her head slowly. You seem to know a thing or two. Go easy on the hawthorn berries. You don't want her to have cardiac arrest by the time she's 50. Now, of course, you've got way more than I need. I was only planning on using about 3 or 4, maybe 8 of them. Right. Only 3 or 4, or 8 of them.
3 and 4 is a long distance from 8.
Well, she's a mole.
At that point, Edith runs her finger under her lip and brushes against her somewhat whiskered upper lip.
It is true. Physiologically, a mole would be a bit more resistant to poisoning. Right. She'd be very resistant to poisoning. It would be her father's blood.
And the two of them begin to go back and forth for several moments, which leads into several minutes, where Melvin brings up a point about blood types, and she counters with historical documentation of dwarves. He returns back with more information about humans and laments at the lack of documentation concerning native to Collins, what their resistances are, what their physiological differences are.
Is that information that would be useful to you?
And Melvin agrees. For several long moments, several minutes, Edith begins to fill him in with those who she has treated, both the overlanders and the natives, the wealth of materials and documentation present in, at least in Zaru, and even goes into detail about some of the myths and local hedge magic, the local wisdoms, the remedies. By the time
Vanya has moved from listening very carefully to this conversation to actively taking notes.
Anyone who would like may make an insight check as this carries on between the two of them.
Yeah, I'll make an insight check. Let's see if last night's luck carries over. It does.
I'm very much taking notes.
That is a 7.
And Baji's trying to take notes in between.
Jaggy wrangling.
Yeah, just making sure the Jaggy's like not wandering too far out of the circle of influence.
And Banjay, with your 14 insight, it seems as though Edith is taking in the measure of this halfling. Melvin appears less intimidated as time goes on and more interested in what she has to say in terms of collaboration. As their conversation kind of stems and comes to a close, there's a long pause where Edith folds her arms and looks toward Alina, looks toward Vanya.
I think the halfling knows what he's doing. He'll do a damn better job than Crowley would, that's for sure.
I would do a better job than Crowley would.
Everyone hates Crowley. What's wrong with that?
He's a crazy lizard man.
Have you met Crowley?
Yeah.
That's talking a mean game, Miss Morea. Are you perhaps looking for an internship? I could use a new assistant. Mine went missing. She disappeared into the jungle yesterday, and I haven't seen her since.
Oh, I would not vouch for me. I'm a terrible student.
It was worth a try. Well,
Don't worry, Edith. I will be sure to put out feelers for a new assistant for you.
oh, thank you, dear. I appreciate you so very much.
Am I missing something? Am I missing the joke? You're the assistant, right?
That is the joke, Mbonje.
Okay,
Where did you find this puppy? You're such a puppy. Look at you with your long floppy hair being all puppy-like.
Is she talking to the literal puppy or Mbonje?
Talking to Mbonje,
Okay.
and then asking Nisha where you guys got the puppy. Melvin nods toward Edith.
I appreciate that you approve of what I have to offer. If you don't mind, brew like this could need at least 12 hours to work on, possibly 24 if I want to get the timetable correct. You're all welcome to watch and make sure I don't slip arsenic into it.
Do you happen to have a written recipe for this potion?
A written recipe? Well, I could...
As he goes to say it, Tom clears his throat. Don't go giving away all our secrets, Melvin. I know you're eager, but...
Well, maybe if we collaborate in the future, or if this turns into a situation where we need multiple potions, I beg your understanding. This is not something that most everyone should know about. As much as you don't trust us, well, we don't really know you either.
it makes perfect sense to me. And he nods.
I will accept whatever you say, but I would question the desire of the philosophy of dealing with a problem should a problem manifest itself versus preparing for the problem that may manifest itself. One seems like it would be more effective in dealing with the problem than the other.
Certainly would be a good idea to let y'all in on that particular potion. However, as I understand it, this place is not exactly stable, governmentally speaking.
Then don't tell us the recipe, tell Edith. Give it to one person like Edith, or we can put it in the commission archives just so there's a record in case this situation happens again. And you are not here.
It's archive protected?
Of course, it's in the middle of the guild hall. It's got guards on all sides. You have to be a ranked member to access it.
He folds his arms and rubs his finger just above his lip. You see their gears turning.
And if I need Muriel to lose it, I can ask Muriel to lose it.
That is the kind of attitude I am looking for, yes. I think something like that can be arranged. I'll have to maybe pull some strings and perhaps write a letter back home asking for forgiveness after the fact, but I think this can be done.
Mbonje shoots Alina a look, like a nod of appreciation and like, wow, that was cool.
Johnny,
Vanya's fidgeting a little bit.
Johnny, if you tell anyone I'm a reasonable human with any sense, I will hurt you.
He waves his hand dismissively back and forth.
I have a table dancing reputation to keep up.
Table dancing, dueling, general carousing and troublemaking. Don't worry, your reputation is fine. I will continue the rumor for as long as it takes to ruin you.
Fantastic. It's what I look for in you, Johnny.
He flashes you a sharp-toothed grin, and goes back to categorizing what beers and drinks are left. Edith hops down from her chair, and Vanya, you hear a bit of a kick in her hip.
Oh, that's not. It's time for
he
me to
did.
go, I think.
She waves you off frustratedly, nursing her hip as she kind of clicks it and pops it. And
Where's that nice horse of yours? I think I'd like to head back to the shop if you don't mind.
Of course. May I carry you across the threshold?
I would be delighted if you were to scoop me up into your big strong arms.
Fantastic. And yeah, Alina will scoop Edith up into her big strong arms and carry her bridal style.
Stars and stones, you're a strong one.
Will you be needing this box back?
What that old thing there? Well, I suppose you're...
he glances, and Tom gives him a look. Melvin looks back to you.
They're easy enough to make. I can part with that one. By all means, take it, and if you need help with that,
Points at the troll heart.
you give me a ring, right?
I will very much take you up on the offer. I may return sometime later to pique your brain.
Alright. Troll's blood isn't privileged information, fortunately.
I have some of that too.
I'll be around to discuss matters. Pleasure working with you.
I have Joe heart and blood too. I'm trying to see if it totally helps with growing things. So if there's anything you can let me know, I'd appreciate it.
You can use to grow limbs. Not so much good for gardening.
I don't think there are any. Maybe mushrooms. Mushrooms are living things in their own way, and they're mushroom people. Maybe trolls are how mushroom people came to exist.
He lifts his hands a little bit and very clearly washing his hands of that line of reasoning.
I can't tell you one way or another what that blood's going to do to a mushroom. You're not wrong. They're not quite plants. They're not quite animals. Do be careful with whatever it is you plan to do, Mr.
Banjay.
Mr. Manje. I wish you luck. If you want to make something a little more normal from that, let me know. I might be able to. What was the phrase? Let you pick my brain.
And Banjay almost says that he can put some troll blood on his brain and see what happens, but he doesn't because he's not dumb.
All right, I'll pack
Right.
up my things, removing stuff from the inventory. How much stuff did they need from this?
Let's see. Let me check your inventory real quick.
Yep, in the chest of preserving.
In chest of preserving. I have. Oh, it's all right there. Okay, take all of those. Take all of those items and reduce them by 1/2 of what you have.
Okay. I thought I picked more hibiscus flower, but I think I only have the one.
I think you have a pound of hibiscus in there.
Yes, that's what it should have been.
All right, so just make sure you have a half pound in there. It gets funny at that point.
I will edit.
Okay.
As soon as
Guys,
I figure out how.
Sure.
There it is.
Woo! So you guys make your way out of the somewhat stuffy, somewhat quiet Black Cat Tavern, not nearly as festive as it normally is, knowing that the gunslingers won't be there for very much longer, only long enough perhaps to brew this particular potion.
Okay. That or tonight dough ice cream.
And out into the bright, sunny sky you go. You are meandering, going from place to place. As you guys make your way out of the Black Cat Tavern, you see a number of people moving in the direction with the traffic of people's comings and goings. Among them, you notice a green-skinned tiefling making her way through the crowd, away from the direction of the guild hall. You guys catch sight of Heldy moving away from that direction. Heldy, at the Black Cat Tavern, you notice that your adventuring group, workmates, coworkers, are gathered outside of the Black Cat Tavern.
With a horse and a very old gnome.
A horse and a very old gnome.
And a skeleton still holding a dead Jaggy, and an Mbanje still holding a very live Jaggy.
Yeah. During this time also, Incognitus, you would have been at the guild hall filling out paperwork when Heldy arrived, filled out some paperwork, and you two would be leaving at about the same time, having claimed your 25 gold pieces apiece for the mission. Or was it 50?
50.
50. So you guys would have 50 gold pieces apiece. Up to you, Incognitus, if you want to hang out with Heldy or move about town and check things out.
Helly doesn't have something to go do off on her own. I will probably hang around with her because, hey, at least we could, since we know each other, we can at least gawk at strangers together.
Oh yeah, Heldy points out some like really ugly kids, just really unfortunate young people playing tag, running around, causing a general ruckus. And as you watch these kids' behavior, you're kind of okay with how unfortunately shaped they are. It seems there are a couple of troublemakers just going around, messing with the carts, screwing around. At one point, you catch with your high wisdom score. Yeah, this kid's definitely about to go, like, maybe cut purse and run. And you guys shoot the shit a little bit. Heldy seems to know their way around town. Mentions a couple places that are fun to just hang out and people watch. And you guys do a little bit of people watching as you make your way in this general direction and happen to people watch your party.
I very much appreciate your expertise, Edith. I trust you more than outsiders who I've never met before. And Alina will put her gently on her horse.
Edith gets on top of Jet.
Well, I appreciate you coming to me about this. It is very interesting what they plan to do, but alchemically speaking, it seems pretty sound. Dream magic is not a pretty thing. It's not a pleasant subject. The idea that that poor little girl might be suffering. Listen, they got something for her. Why, back in my day, if a child was afflicted with some kind of hag curse or spell, either you removed the curse or you removed the child. It was not a good time back then.
I've also read in Jean on the situation to help with her sleep while we get this potion figured out.
Oh, Delacroix. That would make sense. She's a follower of Seluna. Yeah, well, that said, she's probably got a pretty good fighting chance.
Thank you again, Edith. Is there anything you require me to do at the shop, or?
She shakes her head.
I'm thinking about maybe closing the shop for the weekend. Get some rest. Maybe check out what's going on in the west side of town. I hear there's a party happening.
Oh yes, Hatching Day.
Right. Hatching Day. That's what they're calling it now.
Well,
Little bastards.
Well, Edith, when you make your way there, your first drink is on me. Maybe your second one as well.
I will hold you to that. If I drain your coffers, you have no one to blame but yourself.
She gives you a wink.
If you drain my coffers, I will just fill them up again.
Oh, to be an adventurer. Expendable income. You young people don't know what it used to be like, I swear.
I presume you guys bring her back to the Half Moon Court?
Yeah.
Alright, so you guys begin to make your way
Um,
eastward.
Actually, Vanya would ask Alina if Alina would be fine taking Edith home, as Vanya wanted to head over to the guild hall to turn in the dead Jaggy. She thinks that's where they're supposed to go, and collect money, and offers to collect Alina's to give to her when they meet up again.
Oh, appreciate it.
Okay.
I will escort this beautiful woman home, and you can go deal with paperwork.
Oh no. Thank you.
Mbaje's gonna go to the guild hall as well.
If they ask you for my report, just take a piece of paper, draw a giant dick on it, and say, I will tell Norexus personally.
I will certainly do half of that.
Alright. So, as the party seems to be splitting, how are we gathering up? Alina, you're bringing Edith back to the Half Moon Court.
I'm gonna,
And
yeah.
Banji, where'd you say you were going?
To the guild hall with
Vanya.
Vanya. Alright. You go that way. Heldy and Incognitus. Your group appears to be splitting up. Some of them are going back the direction that you guys came. So, you guys, out of character, can decide how you'd like to group together, whether or not you want to group together, as we pull away from the B team and move toward the other side of town. Those of you who are turning in Jaggy bits, Vanya, one dead Jaggy is worth 5 gold pieces. You get 50 gold pieces for completing the coconut quest. So you can adjust your docket accordingly. Let me know if you have business to attend to that you want to play out at the guild hall. Otherwise, I'm just going to give you gold for stuff done.
I've added the gold. The only other thing that Vanya wanted to do at the guild hall was see if she could buy/check out some armor and arms for the skeletons.
Got it. Give me one moment.
Also, I gotta say, I can't help but imagine Mbanji of giving the Jaggy a working dog harness. Now leading
He's
it
on the job.
around by the shoulders.
He's on the clock. Don't bother him, man. Okay, so we have
Therapy Jaggy.
Let me just jot some things down right quick. We have Alina going to check out Norixus after this.
Yep.
We have Vanya at the guild hall. Has to make a requisition.
Requisition. That was the word I couldn't remember.
Some quick chutzpah and organization and such. Okay. So you guys make plans accordingly and let me know when I come back to it who is with which group. As it seems Norixus Tauren is a very busy person. Let's see. Verdi. Bones. I would like you to either make survival or investigation checks for me, please, to see who, if either of you, finds Norixus first.
Ouch. 24.
Ouch. Well, that is a 15 that you roll.
Yep.
Expertise.
But even a 15 on dice, okay.
It's okay.
Like single digits are reserved for ouches in my book.
22.
22. Hey, that's really close. So, how this is going to play out. Verdi, you have a head start trying to find Norixus. But you got to track the guy down. Bones, you are actually a little bit closer when you begin your investigation. So.
And I asked Shago where he was. So.
You asked Shago where he was. So, you've got a couple of clicks in your favor.
Muriel told Verdi where Norixus went off, though.
She did. So, you're both working at pretty much the same. What's the opposite of a disadvantage? Advantage? You both are working with the same resources, but Tabaxi's going to get Tabaxi.
Get down.
Bones, you're a little bit quicker on the draw. So we'll start with you. And midway through, who knows what happens.
Sure thing.
Bones, you make your way from the entrance of Nuanzaru toward Merchant's Ward, past the Dwarven King and the Stone Mender compound. You make your way toward Gnometown, where you see, with the sheer amount of scaffolding, building supplies, and sounds of toolworks.
You're being a little asshole.
Yeah, I'll just start looking for Norixus.
And essentially you see this, what is essentially a large field, a park in the center of this part of town, has been completely, well, it's in the process of being transformed. You see scaffolds of tents and stands and skeletons of what look to be large sculptures that are being covered, glued to, stapled to, with patches of colorful cloth and such. You recognize these. They're essentially not quite puppets, but stilt walkers would wear these things, move around in essentially giant fuzzy costumes or papier-mâché costumes. What catches your eye as you make your way through Gnometown is that every year they have a dragon float. And it's a red, ornate dragon, partially made to appease that small merchant demographic that is from Otori. The red, I believe it's the red flag in their crew. This year, the dragon is not red, but appears to be slowly being patched with green-colored cloth. From what you can see of the framework of the face, it has a long and slender snout, a mouth that's just a little bit too big and a little too goofily gaped, and it appears as though someone has affixed enormous, jiggling eyeballs instead of the normal black beady ones. It's a big, green, googly-eyed dragon with a prominent scar across its face.
Lovely.
You recognize a little bit of satire when you see it. A number of gnomes are working on this, as well as small folk, a couple of elves. You see, dwarves and humans, and all manner of people have been brought in to work on these festivities. You hear a distant crack and an explosion, laughing as something went wrong, but the results were amazing. Hammers and pythons and all sorts of work noise kind of drown out doesn't quite drown out. It gives you sort of like a background white noise as you focus and search. And among the people near this big green dragon, you see the cape and the badge and the long, thick neck of the Dragonborn, Norixus Torin. He has a clipboard in hand, and he appears to be talking to a number of commissioners. You can tell by their cut of their cloth and the badges that they wear. Not black guards, but they are staff of some kind. Not quite town guards, not quite rangers. They appear to be civic infrastructure workers. He's pointing people around, and it appears that the commission is lending aid, as per usual, to the non-town celebrations.
I would like to stealth up to him.
Stealth. Okay, roll me a stealth check.
Hold on, Kyo Daddy's coming.
20.
As you get close, you kind of hold your breath and you tiptoe forward, very careful to be downwind, away from him, in his blind spot. You get close enough that you have to hold your breath, because you know if you began to breathe, he would feel it. Inquisitor.
Commander? Taking up arts and crafts?
I dabble once a year. It's a little hard to stealth up on someone when they know that you are in town. Have you come to observe, lend a hand,
No, don't.
or talk?
Talk.
He inclines his head. He looks about for several moments, and you see that there are a number of places where two people could slink off to have a quiet conversation. This is a park. There are trees.
Discretion.
Probably for the best.
All right. He moves aside with you in tow, stows the clipboard underneath his cape, and you're not sure where he fixed it to because both of his hands are free afterwards. He leads you to a tall, broad-branched oak and turns about to face you.
I'm glad to see you are unharmed. Welcome back to Nyanzaro.
Thank you. And I will pull the black book from my inside pocket, because I did not let that shit out of my sight for the entire... since I found it, and hand it over to him.
He takes the book and looks it over. And this is the dossier that's got
Yeah.
basically dirt on everyone, right?
Yeah.
He
Especially
nods.
his dirt.
He nods and begins to flip through it. 1 second, I gotta catch up on other notes.
Dirt on Nerexius. Interesting.
He inclines his head, looking over the information, and his scaly brows give a little bit of a lift before he nods and he closes the book. Rather than, as you might expect him to, tuck it under his arm and keep that feather under his cap, he turns the dossier back over to you.
It would seem Zentarum is perhaps desperate for information.
She'll take the dossier and put it back in her secret pocket. Insight check.
Go ahead. $16. Is there... Okay. You look at Nerexius, and you can't see him attempting to hide or defer or shift the direction of the conversation. You see not exhaustion, but you do see a certain tiredness in his face as he looks at you, as though to ask, now what? What does Bones want to know?
Bones is trying to figure out if he's figured out that she's angry at him.
with an insight of 16.
Yep.
You don't get much. I'll give you this. The way that he's looking toward you, it doesn't appear as though he's trying to present himself as your commander. He wouldn't look that tired.
Given that I now know about your other secret club, why don't you read me in on what the hell is going on here?
He inclines his head. He begins to walk.
Yeah,
Turns his back to you.
Oh.
Collecting my thoughts, give me a sec.
Okay.
Blightfang's siege on Tekal, on Yanzuru. Xylris' play for power. It put a great many things into perspective. I have had much to think about. How things are handled. No doubt you are aware that things are not quite as they seem. There is a fundamental truth about all societies. The larger they become, the more noticed they become. Have you ever wondered why there is no Thieves' Guild in Yanzuru? Despite such a thing existing in every city without fail.
I used to think it was because of the hard work of the Inquisitors, but I feel like I may have been a bit naive.
Perhaps. Decentralization. There is no guild because there is no guild. By keeping them from organizing, by turning those who would be ambitious against one another, it is possible to prevent them from getting too tangled, too powerful. Keep the Zentarum from forming here. The Inquisitors are part of that. Keeping Inquisitors in the dark is part of it as well. I would apologize for keeping you in the dark, but I don't believe it was the wrong call. I don't believe that you would have enjoyed that life. Secrets within secrets. When last we spoke, earnestly, honestly, I grilled you about trust. I suppose it's only right to allow you to do the same. What do I call you now? Mayor? Duchess? Chairwoman?
I think that's up to my companions. While I may have taken point in New Haven, I don't think I really have the authority yet to say that it is mine. It's as much mine as it is Biff's or Verdi's or Karn's or Roar's. Hell, it's probably more Roar's because he paid for it.
He seems only momentarily puzzled over the information before gently shaking his head.
What I mean to ask. Now that you know what you know, based upon how much more you would like to know, remaining an Inquisitor within the Commission would not be an objective place for you to be. Things are changing, Inquisitor. The structure is being shifted around. I have had much to think about. My place in all of this. And it has occurred to me that the Commission has overstepped. I was not kidding. It was not a blanketed statement when I said that we should reach out to the other tribes, what remains of the civilizations of Tikal. But we cannot do that if we hold power here in Yanzuru. It would not be objective. There would be a conflict of interests.
Probably chairwoman of whatever council is ruling New Haven at the moment.
He inclines his head.
Over the next several years, the Black Dragon Expedition Commission will be stepping aside and away from any form of ruling power in Tikal. Those who currently hold positions within the city through us will have the opportunity to obtain those statuses, but through the new formed City Council, not as members of the Commission. Inquisitors cannot work for the Black Dragon Expedition Commission, as we do not have that kind of pull. This secret club that you have mentioned. I'm afraid that will not be going anywhere. As a chairwoman from the new City Council of New Haven, I must bring you into the fold, if you would allow.
I'll allow it. Nerexius, just because I'm pissed off at you doesn't mean I don't trust you.
Bringing me a dossier full of knot dirt. Checks out. Where will you be this evening?
I'm staying at Regis, so probably there.
He inclines his head.
I might try to pull him out of his workshop and get him to come to the party. We'll see.
I will find you at the party. I will borrow you for only a few minutes and introduce you to the Triceratops Society. There are many things to be done. I am happy that you're being pissed off at me. It does not change the fact that you are ready to work.
Of course not.
Now, Unless there is anything else you need of me, I have to help these gnomes make a sitar out of Zylder's the Scarred Beguiler.
Have fun with your paper mache. I'm not going to get glue anywhere near this fur. I have learned my lesson the hard way already.
He inclines his head. You don't see even a whisper of a smile at the idea of you being stuck with glue. But there is a raspy little hiss that you hear in the back of his throat, akin to a chuckle. And Nurixus leaves you beside one of the large trees, nodding to you before making his way back toward those gathered by the giant effigy.
I think I will go back to Reg's house, because things are confusing and I need to sort my brain out.
Sure. As you come off of your discussion with your... Well, he's no longer your boss, is he?
Still my mentor.
Collaborator? Conspirator. Yeah, you're conspirator, you're co-conspirator. You are distracted momentarily. You're startled almost as something in your bag begins to shift and bump around.
Weird. Okay, pull that out, whatever it is.
The telescription pen is moving. It is trying to write on the inside of your bag.
Yeah, I'll give it a paper.
Alright. You give it some paper. Somewhat scrawled out. You catch the final bit of a message. Not sure where you are, been trying for a few minutes. I've got a frog now. Not a very good conversationalist, but he tries. I'm making my way back to the office. Not sure if he'll be there. Reg.
I just pick up the pen immediately once it stops moving, and all right. Just finished up my work. Bulgup is a friendly fellow. He does his best. I was planning on heading home? ?
See you there.
And I'll head what I think is home.
Alright, you head back toward Crosp's office. Verdi! Moving back to you. You pull away from Bones to find Verdi approaching from the north side, from the harbor ward, going around the Merchant Prince's villa toward the other side of Gnometown from the opposite direction. Verdi, it takes you a little bit of time to find Nurixus. It's as though you've been searching the same area for like 10 minutes now, trying to find the guy.
It's like I can smell him, but I don't know where he is.
But you know where he is, and then suddenly he's standing in front of this giant, almost green dragon float, and acting as though he had been there the whole time. You would swear he wasn't there a second ago.
I know he wasn't there a second ago, because I've been here at least 3 times.
You know, yeah, Nurixus, bullshit. Chip. Oh, what is going on with that?
Yeah, my screen's all fucked up because I tried to print screen all my display because I wanted to show my setup. And
that's funny.
Yeah, now everything's black.
Everything's black. You do find Nurixus. He speaks for a moment to a tall and lanky, curly, blonde-haired human. You recognize that they are not part of the commission. They've got kind of like a doe-eyed look, or doe-in-the-headlights look, as they discuss matters. You catch the tail end of a conversation before this human, with shaggy blonde hair, moves off in a way carrying a crate full of various shreds of green fabric. And Nurixus is momentarily alone.
Alright. Seeing that he has stopped conversation with whoever the fuck that was, Verdi will approach in the way that he normally approaches, which is quietly, but enough to let Nurixus know that he's there.
Okay, you come at him from the side, and you don't step into his blind spot. He kind of sees the sun glint off of your shining white face, despite the hood. He looks up and down at the dragon.
Ranger Vidar, welcome back to town.
Verdi,
Turns his attention toward you, the blue eyes piercing as he looks you over.
Verdi bows his head and thank you. You are not busy, are you?
I am always busy.
Well, I mean, too busy to talk.
Why don't you spit it out, as they say, and I will let you know if I am too busy to answer.
I have some news, I suppose to tell you now, about New Haven and the residents there.
He puts his clipboard under his arm, tucks it away somewhere, and presents both hands. They're folded somewhat as he gives you his full attention.
Yes, more news. Lay it on me.
I talked to a few, most of all of them. There are some that do want to come back to Menzaru. At least 42 of them.
42 is a large number of people to move. Are they our people, or are they refugees from elsewhere?
Most of them are refugees from here. When Zilras took over with the lizard folk, they had moved down that way.
At first blush, I would urge to focus on our people first. However, we do want to make friends with this new place. What is your take, Ranger? What would you do to move that many people?
Verdi kind of puffs his cheeks out and raises his brows and kind of scratches the back of his head because he has no idea what the fuck to do because that's a lot of people and he's not a people person. So they're just kind of like, Norixus can definitely see the gears turning and the steam coming out of his ears.
You will need more Rangers, Ranger Vidar.
Yes, I was gonna come to that conclusion. We would need a lot of people to move a lot of people to protect them, to get them back.
To do it safely and do it carefully, you will have to do it slowly. Small groups, squadrons of 4, no less, no more. How safe is the path?
It was not too bad. There were some frog. Did not understand them, but they traded.
He lifts his head up.
The Gribbly.
Yes.
They can be reasoned with.
We somehow... something happened. We traded goods, or got paid out, and they did not attack us because we didn't go into their territory.
Your artificer bought a strange belt from frog people.
Yeah, he got a beard.
And he grew. Vidar, please describe the belt to me.
And Verdi will describe the belt because he's
Okay.
He's got a photographic memory.
So, yeah, you've got a photographic memory. You describe the belt, and it is a ornate and pristine belt made from leather and tweed and silver buckles. There is an embossed relief of a dwarven face where the buckle should be. And as you mention this, Norix's brow begins to furrow.
That belongs to a man working at Camp Vengeance.
Camp Vengeance is, They're not there.
Yes, mysterious disappearance. But these Gripplies you traded with have artifacts from those people. People who, up until recently, I was under the impression were displaced but alive.
Yes. Well, Bertie kind of just shrugs and winces a little bit because he doesn't know how to handle that.
You followed the river to make your way to New Haven, correct?
Yes.
He reaches into under his cape and begins to look over a map that you had at one point sketched, one that is being used as a sort of standard right now for a number of rangers. He looks it over and frowns deeply. The initial plan was to move down past the River Cherokee toward Port Castiliar. Now I am having second thoughts. Camp Righteous in the opposite direction. Dangerous land, no matter which way you cut it.
Verdi will take out his own map to update Nerixus on findings and other things that they have gone through their travels to basically give him an update of how that whole thing went. Verdi would have made notes on their travels down to New Haven.
He nods, and looking over your notes, he's rather quick to point out,
following the Oceanstar River, you ran into very little opposition. Sturges were mentioned in your report, but no mention of large beasts. Only small undead. I'm going to float an idea by Inquisitor Darkmoon and see what she thinks. But perhaps if we were to follow the river, it would be a safer course. It would give us an opportunity to investigate Camp Vengeance and check in on Camp Righteous, who are still in need of support.
Also, the flaming fists that went down that way, at least 30 want to stay down there, but 13 of them want to come back. Maybe we could bulk them into helping transport back for protection with the Rangers.
he looks toward you.
A Flaming Fist is not part of the Black Dragon Expedition Commission.
No.
I would ask you your opinion of these men, if they can be trusted to move stealthily, carefully, and judiciously through the woods. Are they ranging material? Or are they more like Monty?
Freddy kind of bites his lip on that and winces. No, they would probably be like Monty. Maybe that was a bad idea.
A meat shield is still a shield. That said, more information to discuss with Inquisitor Darkmoon later. I will ask you your opinion on this matter. Perhaps we'll have a meeting together. See what you think together. You all know more about New Haven than any of us here. We will see about moving people up to Nyanzaro as soon as possible. It will take us some time to get settled in New Haven. If we can establish ourselves as allies there, from some modicum of infrastructure. Once we can take care of us, we're taking care of those who want to move. I do not intend to dawdle. We will move them as quickly as we can do so safely. Is this agreeable to you?
Freddy is nodding along and continues to nod. Yes, that makes sense.
Good. We will discuss this more throughout the following days. I would presume as well as we move the caravan south. I am assuming that you will be going with us back to New Haven.
Freddy nods. Yes, we made it back up this way, a lot sooner than I expected. I had planned on coming with the caravan here. But now, yes, I would be going back.
Good. It's hard to find good rangers these days. Is there anything more you needed of me, Ranger Vidar?
No, I think that's all, but if anything comes up, I will find you.
I trust you too.
Dirty will nod and let Nerixus go back to making a float. Gertie actually takes a look at it, nods, and then bows his head to Nerixus and makes his leave.
I think the eyes are a great touch, wouldn't you say?
Freddy kind of makes a little bit of a face of like he's thinking about it and nods.
And as you watch, the big googly eyes are perpetually googling, as though jumping beans or some kind of magic is animating the eyes.
It lightens his presence quite a lot. I think the kids will like it.
Good. We cannot have people afraid of despots. Those who attempt to take power from the people deserve to be made a laughingstock. I will see you later.
He will nod again, and unless Nerixus says anything else, he will leave them be.
All right. You successfully have a discussion with your boss and make a sort of game plan. He pledges aid in exchange for aid and seems to defer to you for some information. Following your report, there does seem to be some potential in a change of plans as far as the caravan goes, but he does pledge to have more discussions later.
Oh yeah, they're gonna figure this out and figure out the best way to get people back, and that's all that matters. Verdi just wants people to be happy, and not so many people in New Haven simply because, well, they're already kind of short on food. So
Short on food. All right, so
things are a little bit better with Karn though. Karn fixed that for now.
Karn fixed that for now. All right. Speaking of Karn, you've been sitting on the stone throne for a hot minute. Arguing continues in a distant room, while you are left to your own devices in this well-appointed office.
Let's see. Before I do what I think he's going to do.
Sure.
Yeah, no. If it's been going on for a while, then he's finally going to just grunt to himself, stand up, and then go towards the sound of arguing.
Okay, 1 moment. Okay. So, you move about and you move toward the door. You see that there is a seam in the door. It's not perfectly flush. You can hear some sound through it, especially if you get closer to it. The muffled conversation continues back and forth. Do you attempt to listen? Do you attempt to sneak?
I just open the door and keep going.
You open the door and keep going. You find yourself in a hallway and you approach the sound of distant conversation. It's not so distant now.
He's looking for you. He said you took something. What? No. He shouldn't have noticed. Was he alone? I don't understand. You're more careful than this. No, he had a Sprite. But I made a promise. You can't break promises, they're fake. Well, somehow he learned about it. What are you going to do? I don't understand. He shouldn't have. Listen, you need to lay low. Maybe he'll give up. Bad dream isn't anything any sane person would chase. Oh, no. I can't stay inside. I have to see that little girl tonight. A little girl? Are you nuts? It's one thing to pull the wool over a couple of human eyes. This guy's a construct. He probably doesn't forgive or forget. But what about Sana? What about us? No, wait. No. Listen, I might not be your dad, but he's not going to forgive me if I let you wander out. You're going back to the refuge with your kin, and you're staying there. But no, I made a promise. And we keep promises. I'll figure out what to do about Mr. Karn. I'll give him the slip. He doesn't move very quickly. You will not.
And it's about that point that you find yourself in front of this door, closed. The same door that leads to the room that you had spent time in when Rua was working on you. The conversation is heated, somewhat loud, and somewhat shrill.
I've just been like standing outside of the door with one head cocked, listening the entire time. Does it sound like anyone might be moving towards the door?
You hear some movement. You hear some shuffling. You hear some footsteps kind of thumping toward the door.
Okay. I wait.
All right. As you sit there and wait,
Stand there.
you hear a faint sound, and you see a ball of pale white mist manifest toward the left of you. From this ball of mist stumbles out a small, fiery, red-haired, short person, a gnome. You recognize immediately that it is Rua, as she stumbles, kind of trips, and kind of steps away from the door. The door swings open, and the gnome that you'd seen earlier goes to call out.
You get back! Oh, shit!
He looks up at you, seeing you looming at the door. Rua lets out a squeak and begins to dart down the hall, away from you.
Oh, shit!
This one was hoping we could talk without this.
As you say that, she is bolting.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not fast, but you know what? I don't need to be fast to cast Entangle.
You cast Entangle.
Yep. Right in the space in front of where Rua's bolting.
All right, one moment, please. Where are my characters? Okay, Entangle.
Strength
Saving throw. Strength saving throw. Oh no. All right, she's going to make a strength saving throw.
DC 16.
DC 16. Yeah, that's a 7. So she stumbles into the weeds and is quickly grappled by your roots that just kind of break up out of the ground, causing further property damage. No, no, no! Shouts the gnome at the doorway. She's only made it about 20, 30 feet away by the time she is caught in wrap.
Oh shit, no crap.
I'll turn away from the gnome in the doorframe. This one was getting tired of waiting. And I'll proceed down the hallway towards the vines to look down at Rua.
As you do, the Papa continues after you. You approach Rua, and all the while, he attempts to persuade you to stop.
Hold on, listen, we can talk about this. We can compensate you for your time. We can refund the package that you got.
And you make your way to Rua, who looks up at you sheepishly. Connor, if you could make me a perception check.
Perception. 26.
26. You look at her, and you notice that something is ever so slightly off. There is a faint blur to her appearance. There's a faint shimmering, a very faint. As she moves, there's almost like a lag between where her body goes and where her colors go. She sheepishly smiles up at you and,
Hey, big guy. So,
I squat down at the edge of the entangled, all the plants.
I take it you talked to Kai then?
May these ones have a conversation.
The gnome, referred to as Papa, looks at Rua, and Rua sighs and nods her head toward him.
I'll eat this one. This is on me.
Rua,
No, it's fine. It's fine. He's not gonna... You're not gonna pound me into the ground, right?
No.
He's not gonna pound me into the ground. It's fine.
Oh,
jeez, Carrick's gonna fucking kill me. Alright, listen. This is on you. You own this. This is yours. Should have never brought him in here in the first place. Constructs, I swear.
Will the Rua promise not to run away again?
She inclines her head. She winces.
I stare at her very intently, giving off the distinct impression that I heard what she said about keeping promises.
She looks away.
Damn it. I promise I won't run away from you. For now. You do anything suspicious, you lay a hand on me, and I am gone.
I grunt a little bit and stand up and wave a hand to dismiss the entangling vines.
They recede into the ground, leaving cracks and buckles in their wake. She dusts herself off, and you see that she is actually wearing a bit of a cloak with a hood, green. She appears to be wearing leather armor, similar to something that Bones would be wearing. Form-fitting, hugs the body. She looks up at you.
I'll step to the side and gesture back towards the room that they had just left.
She moves ahead of you. You follow suit. She hops up onto the examination table and looks at you.
I'll close the door behind me.
So listen, it's not supposed to go down like this. Typically, people don't figure it out. Are you okay?
This one is disappointed.
Yeah, I got that. The whole grasping vine thing. You seem kind of upset.
This one does not move very fast. Not as fast as the Rua. This one thought it was a good idea to get the Rua to listen. This one apologizes.
No, if you got it, flaunt it, I guess.
This one would like to know more about what occurred and what was taken. This one is disappointed to think that the Rua would think this one would not give to the Rua willingly had this one known what the Rua needed.
Roll me a persuasion check, and you can take advantage on this one. Okay.
Oh, thank God for that advantage.
That first one, you mentioned that, and she looks at you, her fiery red eyes surprised, her thick brows lifting up high, and she stares at you for several long seconds, and you see her. You're not, the best at recognizing emotions, but you know what a sinking heart looks like. And you recognize that she feels something. She cows her head and glances away and furrows her brow and
You don't have to, but I would like you to keep a secret. It's important.
This one can do that.
Okay, but really keep it, okay?
Can Karn keep a promise?
Can Karn keep a promise?
Is it dangerous? To others, this one means.
No.
Then this one sees no trouble in keeping it.
She purses her lips, and her tongue kind of escapes between her lips briefly.
Most people think we're demons. We're not. A lot of people thought we were, and there's not a lot of us left. We borrow. We used to hang around bards and wizards and storytellers because they had what we needed, and things changed, and then our queen left, and we've just kind of been doing our best just to get by. Papa's not my papa. He knows about us. The rest of us at the refuge. This is... Well,
What is it do those ones need?
experiences. Dreams. Memories. It gives us form. It sustains us.
She gestures to herself.
This isn't real. This isn't real. It's how we fit in. We only go out at night because, the sun doesn't agree with us. It's, long time ago we used to be able to go out in the sun, but not anymore.
What does the Rua actually look like?
You keep another secret?
Of course.
Okay, right, so we all look a little different. Let me just...
And she reaches up to her face and kind of waves her hand, and you see the visage of Rua dissipate into mist. Sitting there upon the examination desk is
Just to let you know, the tokens for Karn and Rua aren't showing for me. They're not loading.
Yeah, I tried to put Karn on the thing earlier, and then I tried to fix it, and then I tested it and created another broken Karn token, and I couldn't get rid of it. And I was like, I'm just gonna pretend no one notices.
Yeah, hold on a second. Let me.
Touching on the two suspicious tokens over by Little Hands.
Oh no.
Yeah, I
give me
sent you a
second.
picture of what it looks like, Rob.
Sure. Give me 1 second, guys, and I'll give a visual aid.
Yeah, the 2 tokens are broken, and I can't delete them.
I'm making more suspense for Rua.
Hell yeah, suspense. I don't know where those. Oh, those dwarves are both not dwarves. Those are both.
No, I can't deselect them.
Stop moving. 1 sec, guys.
I tried to replace the Karn token with a token from my computer, but it wouldn't take.
There's
Here goes
Karn.
I'm back.
You're a card.
There's Rua.
I am Karn. That is the Rua.
That's Rua. Real cute. Real huge.
So, so sitting there on the examination desk, you see, still clad in the armor and the cape, is an unfamiliar creature to you. The shadows seem to peel away from her form. There's a faint amount of sunlight that kind of filters in through the window, and it kind of interplays with her shape, making her appear ever so slightly translucent. The creature wearing this armor is diminutive, maybe a few inches shorter than Rua, with a short, vaguely reptilian muzzle with slitted nostrils and tiny pointed teeth that you see you see them very clearly as she talks. Her eyes are wide, feline-like, and still that fiery red color. You see that the irises are wide and ever so slightly slit. There are mottles like freckles or moles just underneath a thin layer of satiny, short, cocoa brown fur. Where there were once round gnomish ears, there are these long and kind of floppy, pointed, wide ears that droop low. The top of her head, out of the top of her head, her hair is wild and curly and like almost knotted, but it's brighter and more vibrant than her gnomish disguise. Her shape is unassuming. Short arms with 3-fingered, not paw-like hands, but the fingers are short with little claws. And she's barefoot in this form. Likewise, her feet have 3 digits each with claws. And while she sits, you notice that out from behind her armor, a faint, short stub of a tail emerges. This peculiar, short, faintly furred creature with this cocoa brown colored, short fur and stripes of red kind of interposed here and there in asymmetrical patterns, looks back at you looking both alien and ethereal. And she looks at you, folds her hands in her lap, and kind of kisses your feet a little bit.
I cock my head to the side. What is the Rua?
In the old tongue, they called us Koboloi. It means, I think it means little imp, or little monster, or, little something.
Can you spell that out?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, you first. I'm the one in trouble.
What did the Rua take from this one?
Oh, well, there was some, well, like I said, we take memories. Usually usually no one notices. It's little things, and after a day or two, you wake up and it's back. A little faded, but it's there. You don't remember.
This one is damaged. There are many things this one does not remember. What little things this one does remember, this one values greatly.
So when I took it. I had no idea. It usually doesn't happen this way. Listen, I can get it back. It's not spent. It's still intact. The girls, they haven't. I mean, they sipped a little bit, but they haven't, fully taken it. Oh no.
She seems to somewhat panic at the idea that this thing has been taken and lost.
This one is not sure if this one remembers what the Rua took, as this one does not know what the Rua took. If this one remembers, then there is no problem. But if this one does not remember, this one would like to know, so this one can tell if it is a memory this one would rather keep.
Okay, well, it seemed like a bad memory. Really exciting. There were torches. It was a dark place. There was a fight. And there was a dude with well, he looked like you. But his eyes were all mean, and you got hurt. And honestly, you probably don't want that one back. Is this ringing any bells?
I'm assuming that doesn't ring any bells because the player is.
No, there are no bells being run.
No.
Okay.
This one would like to remember.
All right. Listen, I can get it back.
A different memory.
That's more than I was expecting out of this interaction. Yeah. Listen, I have a thing to do. It's almost sunset. Once the sun goes down, I can walk around town without getting,
She makes a gesture with her hands like an explosion.
That makes me nervous, and I look at where the bit of sunlight has been coming into the room, and I promptly just kind of shift over to block it.
You shift over and block it, and you see that her form is ever so slightly more opaque and a little less translucent, and she kind of smiles at you.
Thanks, that was kind of harsh on my mellow. Without the disguise, it's even worse. I can get it back, but I made a promise. Ernest was in here, and he's really cute, you know that? He's really fucking cute, and he asked me to do a thing, and I said I would do it, and they're all gonna be pissed that I do it, but I have to do it. So if you can just hold out for a little while, I'll go do the thing, and then you can come with, and you can watch me. I won't run, but I have to do this first, and then I can go back to the girls, and you can get it back, and you can, if you want to give us something else to work with, that's fine. That'd be great. I'd be super appreciative.
That would be fine with this one.
Okay, cool, great, cool. And I'm sorry.
This one understands.
I can can live with that. I can live with that. Thanks. So,
Oh,
you
this one
you really messed up Felon's floor. He's
this one should probably fix the chair.
Maybe the chair. Can I see it before you fix it?
Of course.
Cool. Can you I gotta put my face back on. Do you mind if I just a little just turn around and
Yep.
thanks.
I'll move. I start to move to the door, pause, and then turn around because I don't want to stop blocking the sunlight yet.
You turn around, you hear a faint shifting and a shimmering noise. And
Alright, I'm good.
I give a thumbs up with my back turned, and then I turn around and move over to hold the door open for her.
she moves aside and past you and looks you up and over.
You know, you're really cool about the whole, thing. Most people get freaked out by the fangs and the, they say you look like goblins. Anyway, chair, show me.
Looks like what?
Yeah, they're like these little mean things in fairy tales.
This one is unfamiliar. This one has seen some strange things these past few days.
Oh, I bet. Tickle's full of weird shit.
Good
thing we have walls.
One moment, and I start rifling through my my belongings. Did I give her a Zilris tooth before I left this city?
I don't remember if you did.
I know I collected like a bunch of little odds and ends, but I don't know if I had a chance. So, all right. First, I'll pull out one of these Zilris teeth that I have. And then I'll pull out a chunk of cracked flail snail glass.
All right, so let me get this straight. This person stole from you, tried to run away from you.
I love Karn so much.
And now you're trying to not just replace the thing that she stole with another thing, but also gift her something.
This one took souvenirs for the Rua.
Oh. Are you sure?
Yeah.
I mean...
The Rua is this one's friend.
Thanks. Thanks, big guy. Appreciate it.
She takes them, she holds them close to herself, and kind of tucks them under her cloaked cape. She looks at the glass and looks enthralled, mesmerized by it. Just staring as she kind of absentmindedly follows you while looking at it.
This one does not suggest putting it near the Rua's hair. Although this is dried, this one does not know how it works, but...
Wait. It comes in wet?
Only if it is fresh.
That is so cool. You have to bring me back some wet stuff next time. Whatever this is, but wet.
This one will try. The snail does not move very quickly.
This came from a snail.
A very
That's
large
so gross. That is so gross. Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. Wow. Thank you. This is really cool stuff.
We're probably back in the lobby by now.
In the lobby, she looks at the... he is scarce. He gave you guys some space. You saw he went in the opposite direction of the foyer.
Okay. I'll walk over, and it's just like a marble chair that has risen up from the ground. I think the spell doesn't allow me to move it more than like 5 feet, so
it's still very impressive. Fairly plain. I went more for just imposing rather than ornamental.
Huh. It's that's some solid stonework. Hmm. Holy shit! Trees talk.
You see a new world has opened to Rua. She puzzles, perhaps with a touch of existential dread, about what the trees might be talking about, what gossip they may have. Mind blown. So, do you stick around with Rua and just tail her, or
Yeah,
what's
I
next for
imagine
Karn?
we're going to be like just talking magic and just getting caught up, and I'll accompany her to her next errand.
All right. So, she mentioned sundown is her next errand.
In that case, I
But-
would end up staying with her, but
Yeah. Do you stick around, or
this one will. Wow, now I'm talking like Karn. Karn will promise to return at sundown. And then realize that he doesn't really have anywhere to go, and no real way of tracking down anyone from his party. So he's probably going to head back to Cross's place, knowing that Roar and some of the others are there, so he figures he'll just check in there.
Okay, you head back toward Crosps, and Rua bids you farewell. Exiting out of Little Hands and into Gnome Town with answers, but maybe more questions. Let's see. Verdi has seen Nyrixus. Bones has seen Nyrixus. Alina wants to
Alina.
see Nyrixus.
She does.
All right.
Yeah, Alina will just find him in her own little way. I'm assuming she has a
You got some hunches.
she's got a sense, just a general sense of where she is or where he is rather. You can just find him.
You
Which
can
is
just find him.
that will definitely annoy the shit out of him at some point.
Sure will. 1 sec. There we go. Okay. You, much like your companions earlier, find your way toward Gnometown. There's a lot going on. You see a lot of short folk carrying things way above their punching weight. But they're doing their best. They've got humans and dwarves to help. Your nemesis, Green of Scale and Googly of Eye, has been made in a perfect replica. Well, at least maybe perfect replica to how you envision him.
Oh, as
As
Alina
he floats.
Yeah. As Elena gets close, she's gonna be like, "Oh no, he has come back from the dead to haunt me! What an accurate this looks exactly like him. You're going to terrify everyone."
As you say that, you do see that there are several gnomes who are standing above the back of the scaffolding behind the creature's neck. They are erecting a long and slender blade affixed to the spine, right behind the head. You get a couple waves. People flag you. Just, holler and hoot and make known that you are present. You find Nurixus nearby, working with he appears he is directing a number of commissioners to move and unpack a large wagon full of coconuts. They bring in wheelbarrows, move them to and from this area. And you manage to approach him. You have that hunch, you follow that hunch, and you find him here.
Uncle Nori?
He turns to face you and looks you over, piercing blue eyes watching you. You can sense the enmity as you refer to him as uncle. He inclines his head. Talon, welcome. And he approaches you. I see you have returned from the jungle unarmed.
I know I stopped by like 8 different places before coming here. I'm trying to learn from what Bones does, where she runs around like a chicken with her head cut off, trying to do all of the things.
There is a method. The method may be madness, but there is a method.
So, yeah, no, I dropped my armor. Salin let me leave my armor at the clinic.
He inclines his head.
So that are fucking Fae Intikal, that's weird.
This is indeed a strange change of pace. I have been apprised only to some information. I have met with the creatures, and indeed they are certainly Fae. I cannot discern any lies in their story. They seem like what Fae creatures should be. And this is the first I have heard of this Amber Breeze, was it?
Amber Breeze, yes, the Autumn Court or something.
The owl.
He glances up and away, realizing just how ridiculous this sounds.
Suggests that Xylaris is responsible for this. Not directly, but in his death, something has shifted. Likewise, up until recently, we thought it had been impossible for teleportation to happen here in Tikal. And yet, I suspect it will not be long until we see airships flying overhead without crashing and bursting into flames. Strange times are upon us.
I've never seen an airship. Anyway, good. They came this way. They're much nicer than the last group.
Yes, I was told of Redcaps and a troll.
Yeah, I beheaded him, so no worries there. Probably. Vanya and Banji cut them up pretty good, so I doubt he'll be regenerating anytime soon.
He watches you for a few moments and then nods as you confirm that the regeneration is indeed not happening. And you see his chest kind of deflate slightly as he sighs in relief.
The conventional wisdom is to burn or melt them whenever possible. Indeed, it would seem that if it is not regenerating, then it should be safe. Nonetheless, we have several rangers scouring the area. We have recovered a number of the Stonelander clan.
Good. Hopefully they're okay.
Yes, some wounded, but none have been found. dead. One is unaccounted for, but I believe they will be turning up soon. The members of the Dark Moon Clan, we've reached out to them to keep an eye open, and they are willing to cooperate.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, I with the red caps, I felt it was a good idea to deal with it directly and not wait. But the new batch of Fae seemed like a good sort, so hey, I made friends. There is a more serious matter I wanted to talk to you about, so?
Discretion.
And not particularly.
He glances to the left and to the right and nods to you.
I have it on some authority that perhaps my mother is still alive.
He looks at you and kind of inclines his head.
That is news. That is good news. Yes?
It certainly is. I mean, I might be assuming a lot about still alive, but I would like to find her. Do you know where she was last seen, when she last sent in a report, or anything last spotted? I have not done a lot of digging here because it was painful, but if there is a chance to rescue her.
He inclines his head and he nods.
When last we had heard from her, she had been part of Camp Righteous, performing investigations into the undead. She would often go with a small traveling party to deeper south expeditions to other tribes, other settlements. Her realm of study, she was interested in the natives and their worship. Well, not worship. She would slap me for saying that. Her veneration of the undead. The idea that a family is family, whether living or not. That was one of the angles that she studied. If I recall correctly, she had last intended to travel to the Talus Plateau. It is several days' travel south of New Haven. Allegedly, there is a small society there, natives who live on the lands above the jungle. Very little is known, but it is assumed they are a farming village.
Good to know. I know Solon and I have talked about going south with probably not this group, given I still have someone in my charge, but maybe the next one. Maybe. But at the very least I can put a buzz in Bones' ear. If it'll be in her neck of the woods.
He nods his head and give me a perception. Give me an insight check.
Sure. That's appropriate.
It's his face is hard to read, and at first blush, it seems like there's almost disappointment on his face. But he is a hard read, and his face is reptilian, so you're not entirely sure what's going on in his head.
Are you disappointed about something? She'll just call it out, because she doesn't give a fuck.
No, calculating. I had intended to see you aboard the convoy. The lands that we are entering would be dangerous. Moving this many people will draw attention. And there is a strong chance that the King of Feathers will take note. I had thought perhaps, with your experience. No matter.
That is very tempting. I will talk to Solon. You said 2 days, huh?
Yes, a day. 2 days from now.
A day, 2 days from now. Okay.
If you need more time, there are always more cheese wheels that we can put on the carts.
I will talk to her about it again, even if I do not make a permanent move south. I might be convinced to join a convoy, especially if it is leading in a direction that I need to go. But
First to New Haven, and then there will be others moving up north that may need protection. I have been informed that a number of our people are alive in New Haven, taking refuge, and want to return home.
well, I'm happy to help people come home.
If perhaps that can sweeten the pot.
I will talk to Solon and get her read on the situation. But count me as like a 65 to 70% chance.
He inclines his head.
I like those odds.
Anyway, Faye, Mother, I think that's everything. You are working very hard. You need a drink. Would you like a drink? I will buy one for you.
He glances up at the float. He looks back toward you.
Perhaps after the festival begins. I am not one to celebrate before the job is done. But I might take you up on that offer.
Good. I owe Edith a couple of drinks too.
She will drink you under the table. Be careful with that one.
Oh, I had no intention to keep. I know better. I have no intention of trying to keep up with her. I just said I would buy her a couple of drinks for checking out the sketchy gunslinger people.
Ah, I see you have met with the sketchy gunslinger people.
I do not like them, Norixius. And you know I'm being serious because I am using your full name.
They are rough around the edges.
They are sketchy as fuck, jumpy as hell, and I do not trust them.
He smiles. You see him actually smile at you. And he inclines his head.
Good. For learning. Give Solon my best. If you need anything else of me, please, don't be a stranger.
I don't think I can be a stranger. You're family.
You see him visibly wince. Family, yes.
Alright, have fun with your float.
Oh.
You know, you should make a tongue that comes out and is like flops around a little bit.
You see his face grow serious as a heart attack. Brows furrowed, scowling. He pulls his clipboard out from under his cape, takes a quill out, touches it to his tongue, and takes a quick note.
Yes. More like that.
What if he breathes candy? Okay, I'm gonna go before I give you 8 million more things to do.
He looks almost hesitant to let you go as he writes down another note and just shakes his head.
Take care of yourself, Talon.
I will. And everyone else as well. And she'll head out.
Alright. You make your way off from Gnome Town to destinations unknown.
Back to the clinic. I gotta go talk to Solon about some things.
Heading back to the clinic about some things. That's going to take you a hot minute. In the meantime, who haven't we touched upon in a while? And Banjay, what are you up to?
And Banjo was gonna head to the guild hall to pick up his money. Why not?
Pick up his money? Sure. You end up following Vanya to the guild hall. Incognitus. Are you still hanging out with Heldy?
I would say I am, unless she's decided to try to ditch me.
As rogues you're wont to do. Incognitus and Heldy, what are you guys doing as your party kind of goes in multiple different directions?
I guess if Incognitus shows interest in wanting to meander around town, Hildy's just gonna meander around town until something catches her interest. because she's already handled some business today, and she's just gonna relax, I guess, before the party happens.
All right. Yeah, Hildy, you know the best places to hang out and just like do shit. So we'll say that you and Incognitus head over toward Gnome Town, and you watch as this effigy of Zilrus is put together. Over time, you see the googly eyes slapped onto the head. You see the giant sword plunged into the back of the dragon's neck. And you guys watch as the sun begins to, get lower in the sky, and the sky turns a vibrant red, and the braziers start being lit. Braziers, whatever. Not your dad. You see the city slowly. Hey, you see the city slowly come to life as torches are lit, lanterns are lit, people are moving, and Hildy, you kind of point out the fact that this place really doesn't sleep ever. Like, there's maybe like a moment at 4 a.m. where there's no one in the streets, but for the most part, there's always something to do. That's what you guys do as you check things out. Hildy, you do see you see a couple of familiar faces setting up in Gnome Town, along with commissioners. You see some dock workers. You see some of the regulars from the Lost Hound Tavern. You see the creepy chairman, the commander of the Black Dragon Expedition Commission, kind of just looming the clipboard and like making notes. And occasionally he's not there, but sometimes he's there. And you do see Alina come and chat with him and head off in a different direction. There's a lot of familiar faces now.
I was gonna say, do we experience the epiphany he has when she mentions the tongue?
You see some shouting in like Draconic as orders are being shouted out. I need an appendage now. That tongue has to be made yesterday. These kids need this. And yeah, very hastily, plans are being scrapped, and rebuilt as this giant float is made even more ridiculous. But you guys are getting primed, and Hildy, you're aware that very soon hatching day is going to start, and it's going to start a day early, like it always does. Night party.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And Banjay, Vanya, you guys make your way back to the commission headquarters, collect your due. There is a pet Jaggy that gains the attention of certain people. There is a very nervous Tabaxi that watches Mbanje from over behind the quest counter with Muriel. Very leery, very aware that is a wild animal with many, many teeth, and doesn't want anything to do with it. He's actually literally shaking. You guys get some looks. You guys bring in skeletons, and the Tabaxi almost faints. You get some looks. Vanya, you turn in your corpse. Muriel informs you, well, we only want the frills, but we'll take the rest of it, I guess. And you are handed 5 gold in addition to the 50 for the quest. And Banja, you were informed, cannot pay for the Jaggy if it's not, and she draws her thumb across her neck. We don't pay for the license.
Well, that's okay. I'm conducting an experiment, so don't worry about this one.
Oh, experiments, great. If you're looking for experiments, outside the wall, south of here, beyond the wall, there is a man who does experiments. Perhaps you go that way to experiment.
I'm actually here to pick up the money, that's it.
Oh, well, we can provide that.
And Banja, you are handsomely rewarded with 50 gold pieces.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Vanya is mildly amused by that whole exchange.
Soft reminder that Vanya was going to pick up Alina's reward as well.
Yep.
You vouch for Alina, and you are also given the 50 gold pieces for Alina. Thank you. Vanya, You ask around a little bit. You ask Muriel about the commission and their stance on equipping their warriors, their commissioners, their rangers, their fighters. What can be done as far as that goes? And she directs you down one of the hallways. If you take that hole down there, turn left at the last door, you'll find the armory. Archibald Graves is currently in charge of making sure those who need equipment get equipment. I must say, you don't look like the type to... She looks you over. Wield a shield or wear a plate. But, it can put you in the right direction, keep you protected.
It would very much be for my protection, yes. Thank you. I appreciate your help. I'll smile and wave cheerily before heading off in the direction of to requisition some armor. Skeletons marching along behind me.
You head off in that direction. And Bonji, I'm assuming you follow around?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're hanging out. You're hanging out with Vanya. She's cool.
Killing. Vanya's cool peeps.
Vanya's cool people. You make your way down the hallway and toward the leftmost door at the end.
Is it an open door or a closed door?
It is an open door. There we go. You hear the sound of gentlemen speaking, and the sound of straps and buckles, leather being drawn tight, the sound of scraping of stone against steel, perhaps. As you turn and enter the door, you find a somewhat wide room with long wooden, not bleachers, benches, with long wooden benches for sitting, several mirrors, and what appear to be a number of lockers interspaced here and there on the walls, while weapons of all manner and armor pieces, shields, satchels of arrows and crossbow bolt cases are neatly arranged on walls, some in piles. In the center, you see there are two men sitting at a comfortable distance from one another upon the benches. One is a middle-aged man, stubbled face, graying hair, a few nicks and scratches, old scars on his face, who wears a set of leather armor with a bit of plating here and there interplaced, bearing the colors of the Black Dragon Expedition Commission. There is a younger man across from him who is drawing a whetstone against a rather large, broad, and jagged blade. His armor looks to be made from scales and pieces of dragon or wyvern or large reptile, pauldrons that have claws attached to them. His chest is almost bare, but a plate made out of scale covers his vital organs, his heart, his lungs, his abdomen, but shows off his man cleavage, which is bald as a baby's butt. The man looks like he's been oiled, muscular, with a thick neck, sides of his head are shaved and slightly spiked. You recognize this guy. This is Leonard Monty. He is a local, not a legend, but he's a well-known carouser. And his armor has got some... Well, it used to be red, but there appears to be some moss stuck to it in places. The two gentlemen glance in your direction. Monty stops sharpening his blade, looking at you pretty much instantly as you enter the door. There's a little bit of a faint, cocky grin on his face as he sizes you up. Archibald, the other man, presumably, Graves, glances toward the direction as you both enter and looks immediately at the Jaggy. I didn't think you could train those.
So I'm trying to see how far I can get before a sniper kind of like shoots a bolt in it when I'm not looking. Hopefully, people respect me enough to not do that, but I'm
Wait,
kind of not
you're
counting
saying
on
there's
it.
a sniper in town? We have to tell the. We have
No,
to tell
no,
the
no, no. It's not a sniper. I'm just saying that everywhere I go, I understand people are kind of like, ew, what is that? Why do you have a live Jaggy? And I'm like, don't worry about it, dude, because I've got this underhand. And the jacket is kind of pretty cool, actually, as he's petting the Jaggy. So, like, don't even worry about it.
Well, you see, the conventional wisdom is that if there's one, there's many, and well, if there's many, they can eat people, uh, and dogs, and kids. There's a lot of kids in town, and dogs. I like dogs. Mister, what's your name?
I'm in Banje.
I prefer cats myself.
And Bonjay, and Miss Katz. I'm Graves.
Vanya.
Vanya. That makes a lot more sense. Welcome to the Armory. We're having a quiet evening. Quiet evening of reflection and deep, interesting thoughts, says the man beside him.
I am sure they are quite interesting indeed.
Graves goes to stand and moves up toward the both of you. Well met. What can I do for you?
I was told you are the man to speak with if one wanted to requisition some arms and armor.
Arms and armor. Yeah, definitely. This is the place where we have most of our leftovers. We're waiting on some new some new equipment. It's been a little slow going, but yeah. What's your flavor? What do you do? Sorry, bad question. Do you have any experience in the martial arts?
None at all. And actually, it would not be for me. It would be for my companions. And I'll motion to the two skeletons.
Um, I'm not just gonna do a insight check to see why that was such a flustering question or quote unquote bad question. Like I assume player knows why, but just cause.
Yeah, you can roll insight. Yeah, you get the impression that he doesn't want to assume anything about this unassuming young lady.
Okay.
As you bring in your skeletons, Monty sits upright. Holy shit! Hey, those are skeletons.
Astute observation.
Are they tame?
They're tame. They're more tame than this lizard here.
This is true.
That doesn't speak well about your lizard, by the way. Full disclosure, you're making the lizard look worse by the second.
The lizard is in a full harness, and I've got it.
Hold you to it.
For now.
If it bites me, I'll bite you. Oh, man. He does bite. He really does bite. Archibald glances back at you, Vanya, looks to the skeletons, and... right. So, with these guys, do they know how to wield a shield? A shield is only as good, and it's only useful if you know how to use it. I'm gonna go on a limb here and assume they're not trained.
Not as of yet, but that is part of why I would like to get them some gear. So we can begin the training.
Well, I mean, they're nothing but bones. Got some small armor that might fit. Let me rummage through and see what I can do. Monty places his sword aside, leans forward, hands not quite in his lap, but his forearms are kind of draped over his knees. He looks the bony boys over. I bet they could be taught. I mean, I've been known to train people now and again, and I mean, skeletons are just people without brains, you know? If you want,
I'm
I
sure
might be
you
able
would be
to.
the perfect tutor for them. But I'm afraid I already have a arms master in mind for them. Given their unique status in life or death, I thought it best to. Well, I am friends with the Talon of the Raven Queen, and I think she might be able to keep an eye on them.
Oh shit, you're buddies with Alina? No shit. Oh man. Hey, if you see her, tell her I said hi.
I will certainly consider it.
All right. Tell her that the bet's still on too.
The bet.
She'll know what you're talking about. Don't worry about it.
All
She's
right.
good people. After a few moments, Archibald returns. He has 2 sets of leather armor. He looks them over. They kind of just bundle up and wrapped up with some thread and buckles, leather belts and buckles, not thread. Basically, packages that bear the colors of the Black Dragon Exposition Commission. Well, these are a bit too small to fit just about anybody, but those guys, well, judging by the width of their shoulders and the fact that you don't have to really worry about the padding, they should probably fit. In fact, you might have to tie them extra tight. Do you need us to? Would you like me to run you through that, or would you like Miss Moria to do it?
If you have a moment, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, I can strap your Calcium Crusaders with some armor. That's fine. Why not? Only in Tikal, right, people? Ha ha! Land of dreams, man. Land of dreams.
All right, Fred and Jack, lift your arms.
All right. So Archibald takes several moments to get Fred armed up. Monty actually approaches and attempts to get was it Frank and Jack?
Fred and Jack.
Fred and Jack. With your blessing, he tries to get the armor onto Jack. After about, was it light armor? After only a couple minutes, your 2 bony boys are strapped up and fairly well armored. If not for the fact that parts of their bones are exposed and their skulls are completely, uncovered, you could mistake them for someone with Verdi's build.
Perhaps some cloaks as well.
Archibald takes a few moments and runs his finger under his nose to think. I think we might have some in one of the back closets. Hey, Monty, you want to maybe go take a lap and see about finding something that might fit? All right, boss. Yeah, sure thing. I'm on it. He kind of points his finger at you, Vanya, as he says, I'm on it, and makes his way out of the room.
I am not certain, but I think he's on it.
I like these guys. They're on it.
Yeah, we'll do our best.
Yes, Archibald, you have been incredibly helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. I trust Maria to get the job done, but if your friends here, if they've got any kind of what's the word, aptitude, if she can't do it, I'll take a crack at it. It's an interesting experience, I think, to attempt it. If you want, I mean.
Thank you. That would be very helpful indeed.
Sure thing. You sure I can't hook you up with like a buckler or a shield or something? Or...
I was actually going to ask about that as well to see. Maybe we should. A small shield, perhaps a small sword to go with the gear.
Swords we can do. Actually, he moves over to Fred and looks him over up and down. He squints a little bit. He then looms over to the side, kind of laying at the hip. How much can your boy lift? I've seen some undead. They're pretty strong sometimes.
I've had him carry some things of mine. I'm not. I don't think he's very strong, but I'd say he's average, maybe.
And this armor and shield. I'm going to assume that these are your guys and they'll be protecting you as well, right?
Yes, ideally.
We've got something experimental in the back. Give me a minute. And he moves out of the room, briefly leaving you and Mbanje to your own devices.
A word of advice, try not to encourage Monty.
He seems like a stand-up guy. Why not?
I wince a little bit.
He
So-
is something.
A stand-up guy.
He is something. In the far distance, you hear, "Hey, found some cloaks!" All right. No, this one's a... Is it a girl cloak or a boy cloak? Ah, shit. Hold on!
A cloak's a cloak, dude!
Hey, good point. And you hear him kind of trump forward, back into the room. Monty makes it back before Archibald does, and kind of hands a cloak to each of your Skelebros. One of them is just a black cloak. The other is a kind of deep blue, with a trim around the hood and around the sleeves and the opening in the center. That's almost like a doily. It is...
Lacy.
It's lacy. It's a lacy cloak. I mean, if it gets the job done, it gets the job done, right?
I give that one to Fred.
You swap cloaks. Fred gets the lacy one. Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. He looks back toward you and Mbanje. Hey, nice pythons. You lift?
Yeah, I'm pretty. And he picks up the jaggy, moves it down as if he's like lifting a bar.
Hell yeah.
I just picture that Shaggy just lifting its head and going, "Mee!" Just completely fine with it.
The head doesn't move like a bird.
No, it doesn't.
That's even better.
It flops around like a noodle.
If I knew that this guy could be tamed for sure, I would definitely try to see if you had something that could be jerry-rigged. Maybe another day. I'll definitely keep you in mind. I like the cut of your jib.
Hell yeah, I got jib all day. Listen, you're here. Do you he gestures toward his shoulders, like making a gear gesture, and sword and board, leather scale. Can you hold a shield? You look like a guy who can throw down.
I usually make do with and he wiggles a finger, a little magic. But I was thinking maybe I could use another cloak, or maybe something a little less subdued than what Fred here has. And he turns to Fred. Trying to think of the wording. And by the way, awesome cloak, love it. Just not my style. Maybe something with 50% less frills.
Less frills. Oh, I mean, if we're talking frills, Jaggy gear is fucking great. The stuff is durable, resistant to bludgeoning. It's a little flammable, but I mean, you skin enough of them, you can wear them like a suit, and you are just protected from bites. We don't get anything like that, but you know what? Let me go back. I'll see if I can find something that's got a little less lace. No promises. It's like lace from here to there down there, but I'll check it out.
Hey man, if it's lacy and it does the job, I can change up the style.
Hell yeah. You gotta be open. Keep your options open. New horizons. Try something new every day. It's a good outlook. Anyway, J-Man, good to see you. I'll be right back. Vanya, I will be back. See you soon. He's gonna step out.
Take your time.
Thanks, man. Everyone's been pushing and rushing and hustling. It's nice to see people with this kind of being quiet. As he walks off. As the intensity that is Leonard Monty steps out and away, Graves returns. And Graves is carrying, with some strain, you see that his muscles are bulging and he's got this like focused look, a slab of steel. It is vaguely oval shaped. The bottom is flat and it curves outward. As he places it down beside him with a heavy thump, you see that it stands about as tall as you are. So this thing been kicking around for a hot minute. Most folks are not really too keen on wielding something this big. Most of the cadets can't really pick it up, and even someone like me, it's going to slow me down. But it is great cover. You give this to one of your boys, and they can wield. You can stand behind them and weather just about any storm. If they can't be proficient with a shield, well, then maybe they can be the shield.
That is impressive.
Yeah, Thorak calls it a tower shield. Says it's big in other parts of the world, but we haven't seen many of these. Too big, too unwieldy. I'm more of a heater guy myself.
Let's see. Fred, try to lift the shield, please.
Time to pick up stats. Give me 1 moment.
They both have strength of 10.
Give me 1 moment. That's Fred and Jack. Fred moves over to the shield. He looks it over. And he makes an attempt. He tries to grab it. He grabs the sides of it. He doesn't immediately go for the handle on the interior. After a few moments, he kind of fuddles and finds it and braces his shoulder against it. Archibald lets go, and Fred immediately starts to wobble and sway as the shield kind of pulls him forward. Hold on, boy. Big guy, come on, hold on. Archibald moves in and braces against the shield, and Fred, give me an insight check.
Sure.
22.
22. You see that Fred is struggling, and Fred is trying to follow your orders, and something is not clicking. Something's not quite clicking.
Okay, it's okay, Fred. Don't fall over. Set the shield down, please.
Fred lets go of the shield. He didn't even manage to lift it up. He takes a step back and remains silent behind you.
That was a very good attempt. Thank you very much for putting your back into it. Jack, would you like to try?
You sure? I mean, as Archibald voices his concern, Jack steps forward, swiftly grabs the interior handle of the shield, braces their elbow and shoulder toward it, and almost fiercely stares at Archibald, interposed between you and him. Jack. Jack lifts the shield up, takes a step back toward you, and places it down. Shoulders squared, back arched forward. Archibald looks off-put.
I look astonished.
Huh. All right. Leans to the side and looks at you, Vanya. Do you want to run some drills?
Yes, let's give them a chance to get used to the equipment, and I will head out afterwards just to see. I am very surprised.
Okay. So you agree to perform some drills, or allow Archibald to perform some drills, and You guys are here for the next like half hour or so. Banja, you watch on. You're free to browse the armory to pick up gear, requisition it. You have done work for the commission. They're willing to part with some items. Um, Leonard eventually comes back. He has a kind of silky, somewhat old black cloak that he offers you. And he watches on as the trolls are performed. And you watch as Archibald, with sword and board, proceeds to make several honest and earnest attempts to circumvent Jack's defenses. Vanya, you watch on as steel strikes steel. King, 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 screeching and scraping against the surface of this tower shield. Um, while behind it, you see sparks flash, but Jack remains steadfast. With each blow, he pushes against the shield. He twists and rebukes it, buffets it, and moves with Archibald's strikes, keeping up with the trainer.
I have to admit, Vanya says to Mbanje as she's watching this, this is going better than I expected.
Leonard, Monty, he watches on, sitting on the bench. He stopped sharpening his weapons after the first couple of blows. He was not expecting this to go the way it's going. After several minutes of this, about a half hour of this, Archibald sheaths his short sword and kind of nods. I think your boy might have an affinity for shields. It's like he's done this before.
It is very possible that he did.
That's true. And concedes that. He looks looks Jack over one more time. Nods his head. Well, swords. That one can use a shield. The other one does not seem to be as good with it. We can still give it to you if you want. Just results may vary. If you have to, stand behind Jack, I guess.
Yes, please. I would appreciate that.
Okay. So, both of your skeletons are equipped, and you learned some things about Jack tonight.
Jack is the strong, silent type, and Fred is the quiet, sensitive type.
Quiet, sensitive type. So it would seem. So, you guys spend a while at the commission headquarters. By the time you make it back outside, it has grown steadily darker. The city is alive with lights. The sunset has begun to ripple across the waters. Noises and sounds and movements all start to come from the west. Traffic is moving steadily westward. It's noisier to the west and brighter as more torches and braziers are lit. Braziers? Braziers. Who have we not checked in on in a while?
What's Biff been up to?
Oh, God damn
What
it.
has Biff been up to?
Sorry,
Because I was like literally just telling, because we had a small OOC discussion about what Biff might be doing, and it's just like Biff hanging. So don't worry about him too much.
Biff's
But
hanging out.
yeah, but because someone else is actually interested, Biff would like he doesn't have like errands to run. It would seem that their elf friend is being stabilized. Leah and others have him. Um, he could hang around Bones, but Bones just like left. immediately, and he can never track her down. Um,
Well, the others would be at Crosps.
yeah, and yeah, he could definitely go to the cross, but like I don't know, so he's selective about like he just doesn't want to interrupt Bones chilling with Crosp. A little respectful. Even though others are
You,
there, he's just
you don't want to be the seventh wheel.
yeah.
Got it.
Um,
So Biff is meandering around town, just checking things out, seeing
yeah.
sights,
The
seeing what it do.
the festival setup looks pretty interesting. Um,
Yeah, you make your way toward the festival, and eventually, you come across Heldi and Incognitus. You guys gather around. Heldi, I assume, tells you, "Hey, the party's about to start."
there's no reason not to hang with them. They seem like cool people.
They're cool, chill people. Let's see. So, none of us have work tomorrow. How much longer do we want to go for?
I'm good to go. Did Bones make her way back to Cross's office before the party started?
Yeah, I can double back to that. Just want to see how much more chutzpah we have in us.
I'm
Well,
getting tired.
I think my characters are in a good place right now. Um, yeah,
is Incognita still in armor?
Yeah,
Did the armor just not come off? Are you like a Mandalorian?
sorta.
Sort of. Yeah, it's in the name, man. They got to keep their mystique and their workout regimen.
Biff will like be pointedly staring at Incognita. It is a relaxed time, yes? Why do you still wear the armor? Shed perhaps half of that. Is there not a smaller way to wear that? Half plate? Maybe just a cap instead of the helmet?
I mean, I'm carrying it either way.
Get yourself a room. The Black Cat Tavern is a very good place. Johnny is a very good host as well. And that is Dej. Ask Johnny about the Dej.
I mean, perhaps when the gunslingers let the Black Cat Tavern resume normal business.
That will not stop you from setting your stuff down and relaxing. Gum, Biff will buy you around at your place of choice on Biff. It is festivity time as he like points to all the stuff about to happen. Will you drink, yes?
On occasion.
This is an occasion. You will drink with Biff. You will calm down. And perhaps you will learn to not wear a helmet in the middle of a festival.
Biff gets the impression of like just an eyebrow raise.
You can't see it. But you are being scrutinized.
Feel it.
As Biff is aggressively friendly.
As Biff is wont to be.
As Biff is wont to be.
But yeah, that's all I'm gonna add to that.
All right. Let's see. In that case, when those characters are where they want to be, Karn, you returned to Crosp's office, right?
yeah, I was going to hang out there until
until sundown.
sundown, and then make my way back to Little Hands.
Verdi, what did you head off to after speaking with Nyrixus?
I'm not sure. He doesn't really have a place to go, so he'll probably meander. Maybe go back to the guild hall to collect supplies at some point.
Okay.
The festival is right there. You can go to festival.
Verdi doesn't do festivals.
Freddy doesn't do fun. We had a festival in New Haven. It didn't work out.
Oh, Verdi's idea of fun is reading a book.
Biff will buy Verdi a drink and bring it to Verdi.
He can do that, and Verdi will accept it, but Verdi will not leave the hole that he finds himself in.
Your study hole, your book hole.
Yeah.
Little steps. It is fine. Little steps.
All right.
If Alina can't do it, I don't think Biff can.
Oh no, that's a challenge. That's 2 challenges in one night. All right.
Oh
So,
no.
moving back to Crosp's office, we got Karn, Leah. Oh, Karn. Yeah, Karn, Leah, and Bones. Roar is also there as well, speaking with a construct, speaking with Gallion. You guys find yourselves in. I actually have activate Crosp's office.
Activate Crosp's office.
So a god who is in a hole. It's being meditating.
I just have blue screen. Lavender screen?
I see an actual thing.
I also just saw blue screen, so I refreshed. How big?
Did I mention that Cross Secretariat looks like the tall man
The tall man?
from Phantasm?
Oh no shit. No.
Kind less spooky, but like as soon as I looked at it, I was like,
Less spoopy. Who's here? Roar's here.
Oh no.
All right. Can everyone see the map?
I cannot connect.
I can see the map.
I can see the map.
My connection has timed out.
I
Oh,
hit the
yeah,
refresh
everyone.
button. Now it's being very sad.
Same,
everyone's
but
typed
I'm
out. What?
good to keep going. I don't.
I'm gonna go into settings. I'm gonna log out. I'm gonna log back in.
All right. Am I loading back in? I'm back in. So, has our server has our IP changed?
I think the RPG gods are telling us something.
I mean, I'd like to get to a settled place with my characters. That'd be nice. But I mean, if it is what it is.
Let me just check something real quick. One sec, guys.
It won't let me log out.
What happens if I... What happens if I reload the application?
App modules 85.
All right, you're loading back in?
No, it never let me log out.
Oh, try refreshing.
I've been periodically refreshing and still no luck. I have no clue.
It's on you and I am. Is that the same IP?
Yeah, it's saying it's taking too long to respond.
Isn't that weird?
I just got booted. Connection is timed out. I have lost my character sheets.
Ah, shit.
Refresh. Is it coming back?
Mine's making positive movements.
Oh, I see Traeger's just came back.
A completely blank screen.
Give it a sec. Oh, you just got booted. Oh, you're back. Redcoat's back. Very strange.
Now I've got loading.
Okay, that's weird. I just logged into our router and it just refreshed. Huh, okay. Alright, so Karn, you make it back into Reginald Crosp's office. You find the place is much the way you left it before, empty. Crosp has not yet returned. Following you, several minutes later, Bones, you make your way into... Well, you see it for the first time. It looks as though everything has been uprooted except for the staircase, the second floor, and the tile floor. The bar is gone. The benches are gone. The chairs are gone. The lockers, the bookshelves, the cauldron. The beaded curtain is still in place. Whether or not the demiplane still exists there is your guess. On one of the walls, the portable hole has been erected and sort of kind of stuck to the wall. Can't see into it. But with Roar being nearby, you assume that there is a method to the madness. You see that the Feywild folk, the Harengon and the Owlkin, they take note of you as you enter. They don't... Give me an insight check as you enter.
Sure. Give me a second to get my character sheet back up.
Sure.
One 1615 images indexed.
14.
Okay. The 14, it doesn't appear as though they recognize who you are, but it does seem that they are... You see their ears go up for a moment and then not fold back, but lower. They are not, I guess... You don't seem completely new to them, as though you're part of the same, distant relative kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, yeah, that person belongs here. You get that impression with the 14. It's kind of animalistic. It's kind of instinctual, the gut feeling that you get upon seeing them. Reginald, let me put him off the map, and Bulga. They are not yet here, but you did get the message that he would be arriving soon-ish. You see that Karn is here. Roar is still present.
I'm sitting down with my back against the stairs, and I just kind of raise a hand in greeting when I see Bones.
Hello. Looks like all of our furniture's gone. That's new.
It is being moved.
Yeah. Bones will take a seat on the stairs. She's just gonna undo her headscarf and start taking out her braids because they're itchy and uncomfortable at this point, and she's home. It's her house. She theoretically lives here, so.
As you do so, you take a spot on the stairs. You get comfortable. You pull your head wrap off and you undo your braids. This does catch the attention of one of the Harengon, Perdan, one of the blue scarf. Kind of glances in your direction. Oh, those are some nice braids. He kind of palms the top of his head, and you instantly get the idea that he's like envisioning himself with that kind of hair.
Thanks.
No idea it'll grow that long.
It can be a bit of a pain sometimes, but
Oh, I imagine, but it's probably lots of fun too. I mean, just imagine the wind in your hair blowing it around, being all bimbly bimbly all in your eyes and your mouth. Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun, eating your own hair.
that's why I keep it up when I'm working.
This
the other
one
Heron
thought this one could not have hair. Then the roar grew a beard. This one still does not understand this magic.
I don't think roots is hair. I think roots can be hair. Anything can be hair if you try hard enough. Yeah, you would think that, wouldn't you?
The other Harangon is bouncing a small rubber ball against the floor, looking bored. Several moments pass as there's some movement at the front door. A bit of a clatter, a bit of noise as the doors open up. In half stumbles, half hobbles, Fiend Keeper Bolgup, and he is just piled up with scrolls and books, and you recognize them, Bones, as notebooks, personal notebooks. He kind of just plops forward, passes by Leah, moves to the side, and places them on the floor. Crosp follows shortly after, carrying a much smaller crate with several books as well. Upon entering, he looks about, gives a nod to Fleming, turns about, and notices, Bones, that you were here. His brows go high, and that lethargy, that kind of exhaustion, quickly peels off of his face. Oh, hey! Welcome to this.
Bones is gonna stand up and move over and give him a proper hug.
He drops his things and he does scoop you up into a hug. So I'm glad you're here. This is the goodbye to this building. Moving on up in the world, it looks like.
Okay. Do you still live here?
After the first of the month, no. I mean, I guess no one lives here, but I'm allowed to move my things out and move into the my personal quarters over at the new tower. Well, it's not a new tower; it's a retrofit. It's not quite set up yet, but all the things are there. Well, most things are here. The Fiend Keeper.
Hello.
He helped me move some of my notes back. Seems there's a lot going on, and I thought maybe consulting notes with the group was a good idea. Some of the group. And as he says that, he kind of glances at Roar a few times, and you're not sure if it's like Morse code, but it seems like he's trying to get something out of you, glean something.
All right. Sure then, I guess.
And he nods and he unpacks some of the things. And you find yourself in a modicum of quiet in an empty but packed house.
Yep. So she will open up her bag and pull out the crystals and the flail snail glass. I picked these up for you.
Oh, that is a really nice specimen. I was not expecting a piece this big. That's actually excellent.
He looks it over and nods and looks to you while still holding it. You can make a number of things out of this stuff. It's pretty rare. the first thing that comes to mind is certain magical inks can be made using it, which can then be used to dye robes and the like. It can be used as a component for a cloak of protection or similar.
Fancy.
Oh yeah, it's pretty versatile. You didn't happen to get any pieces of shell, did you?
No,
I mean,
it was quite friendly.
Right. That makes sense.
We did learn that it wasn't a good idea to use the goo as hair gel, though.
I feel like that is a story worth telling, perhaps over drinks.
Drinks sound good.
They are. He looks about some. From what I understand, there's a thing happening over in Gnome Town not too long from now. There should be drinks and, well, maybe after some note-taking, we can walk and talk and get some drinks.
Sounds good.
All right. Then I can show you the new place. It's not too far off the island. Well, I'll show you.
Yeah, okay. Just, alright, I'm just gonna ask outright, because that seems to work best. You're moving.
Yes.
You invited me to move here before I left.
Yes.
Cool, so... Are we moving, or are you moving, or do I need to... I don't tend to make a habit of...
I was hoping that you would come with me to the new place. It's not gonna lie, it's nicer.
Okay. I'm happy to. I just I try to make a habit of knowing where I'm going to land before I start drinking.
Oh yeah, no, sorry. I kind of assume I'm all over the place. I haven't slept in. He goes silent as he has to think for how long he hasn't slept.
That's worse than me.
Yeah.
You, secretary man, Master Fleming.
I've tried. He doesn't sleep.
You tried a sleeping potion.
That would be assault, Inquisitor Darkmoon.
Have you tried telling Muriel on him?
Oh, no, Thank you, Inquisitor. I think you've given me a functioning game plan. Much obliged. Reginald winces and looks at you pleadingly. Don't give him any ammunition. I thought you were mad at him. Well, you were mad at me, but I mean, it was his fault.
He's been kind enough to call me Inquisitor Darkmoon, which means he made correct choices.
Okay, I see you're conspiring with my assistant now, and this means war. I hope you know. He waves a finger at you.
I will be happy to get into a war with you.
You would. All right. Bulg up. Why don't you head upstairs and start looking at, let's see, volumes 3 and 4 of Demonicus Ultimatum. There's another volume in there, but I think 3 and 4 are the ones you're looking for. Thank you. I am actually quite intrigued by the 3 and the 4. Bulg takes some of the books out of the pile, makes his way upstairs. Finds a cozy spot, pops a squat, hits the books. Okay. Let's see. As you guys whittle down the hours and prepare for sunset, prepare for the festival in Gnome Town, I think now is probably a good point to call it for the evening.
Sure.
To pick up at a different time.
Okay.
All right. I'm more
Sounds good.
than I thought. But thank you guys all for game. Covered a lot of ground and had a lot of fun, actually. Appreciate you guys
A
sticking
lot happened.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys sticking through for the long-winded conversations. I especially appreciate the peanut gallery in, in Loose Cannon's chat. I'm glad you guys are engaged. Happy to have something for you guys this time. I'll be available in IMs for a little while longer while this coffee wears off. But for now, I'm going to give my ears a rest and my voice a rest.
Sounds good.
I enjoyed getting a chance to see what Karn would be like as a slasher villain.
Slasher?
He's definitely a Mike Myers sort, where he just he's a perseverance hunter, where it's not about outrunning him. It's about just you can't outrun long enough to outrun him.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about this. I remarked like Karn has no charisma, but he is the unstoppable force when he puts his mind to it.
It's really the question is, how many shelves do you have to throw in front of him? How many lockers can you push over? How many chairs can you throw in his direction? How many doors can you lock behind you?
Exactly.
You have to lock him because, the only thing that's going to slow him down is if the hinge is busted. All right. I will catch you guys later. We'll see what tomorrow looks like. Who knows what's going to go on.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.